expecting, I mean, I don't know how to say this, a very slow game. How are you feeling about it? You expecting some speed, some quick executes out? I mean,
Gilder on
Navi,
defense, aren't they?
known for rushing it down, running it down. No, this is going to be a very slow game.
Yeah, I will say that one of the things I really enjoyed was when we got to see Navi pick up the pace on Haven. I don't think it really works with this composition because you don't have that sort of primary duelist that's going to be able to take those entries. On the other side of things, I do think it should be very fast-paced because you're running a double duelist with a Reyna. Like, you can't really do anything else, but it means you're going to be able to take a lot more aggression. And for now, at least, we are seeing that because Safe is just pushing all the way up on A.
Yeah, that space is being taken. You can see Coldamenta under the pressure. You can hear all those sounds, Tom. The wall's going up. Navi looked to take this pressure very early on, try to pick out some of these kills, but it doesn't look like that one's coming through just yet. You know, that Headhunter really wants it for SSK. He's bought into his 6 bullets, and if someone can peek him on range here from back yellow, that would just make their day. Oh, that was a nice connection. Safe. Really deterred from any further aggression on A, and I guess because they've punished that, they're going to start pulling back and looking for this B site, but still no progress has been made here. Very patient play for Guild.
Yeah, they basically just need to get into an afterplant, try and hold some of these more aggressive positions, and you can see on the other side, Guild are just looking at plant denial. I would imagine as well, actually they haven't kept onto the wall. The wall's been used for mid, so that's not going to be there in the retake. SSK, wow. Not the start he was looking for, is it? They've just been slammed.
Yep, that's a lot of waiting around.
Don't hunt heads.
Well, isn't that the truth? Look, for Navi, slow around, slower approach. You can see they were looking for those opportunities, and Guild just never gave it away. That's something that's a little unfortunate. Yeah, not the range you're really looking for on that good old Headhunter. Or the target, you know. Keys in the name. Don't aim for the feet. 4 seconds as we see the barriers go up.
If there was ever a weapon called Feet Hunter, that's the moment where I'm like, you know what, I think Valorant isn't for me anymore.
Knowing you, Tom, I thought that'd be your new main. But coming in the second round,
I've heard rumors about you, Mitch.
We got stop listening to Sue, man. I'm telling you, she needs to be stopped. This is a strong little play out of Leo. Look at that, the Reyna pick. It's paid off.
You couldn't do that with any other agent.
Really couldn't, could you? A Bulldog versus an Eco, this is the Reyna play. Wow.
He's got to earn up those ult points as well. I know, obviously, that Lothar's favorite ultimate is actually the Empress because of how much value that you get out of that ult. You can heal by killing someone, and you can turn invisible, and he loves invisibility. So, he's a Yoru main. Of course he loves being able to go invisible. So, there you go. What more could he ever want from an agent? I'm just waiting for the angry DM.
This should be the breakdown right here. I mean, if Lothar doesn't have a Telestrator segment ready for that round right there, the debut of Leo's playing this one on the Reyna, swinging out wide, getting the Bulldog plays.
And stats don't lie. He's 4-0.
That's true. That is true. Flawless Reyna play so far. And I think that's the key. More teams should be doing this, not just on Icebox, but I think every
play Reyna, get kills. That's the
strat. Way. I mean, look, I don't see any issues there. 2 rounds for the team with Reyna, 0 for the team without. It all seems to add up. Navi,
of course.
They're looking for the A side. They might have a free way in. I like the Gilder trying to mix it up a little bit here and rely on catching a mid push, but this is Navi. You know, it's not gonna happen. They're not gonna fast mid on a full buy.
Yeah, maybe if you go AFK for the first minute and a half and then try and catch a fast mid push, that might work, because that's when they'll probably start moving. Because obviously we're now down a minute gone on the clock, slowly making their way in towards A main. The cross being watched on the flank by Safe, but ultimately just going to make their way into the site. There's not really much that these weapons are going to be able to do, unless, of course, Reyna can pop off. Wow.
Leo, well, not quite going to be popping off this time around.
It's close.
It's going to be the new hero, though. Oh, with Leo down, I mean, that's all a Guild's comp, but I'll still have a little bit to try and fight back in all seriousness. And you can see a little bit of damage here. Drop a few more weapons would be ideal. Safe. He's managed to recover that Vandal. Now it gets a little bit dangerous for anybody peeking him from range, trying to take those duels. They've spotted him, though. I mean, he doesn't need to rush. You know, at this point, he's happy to die. He knows he's going down at some point. He just wants to see how many he can take with him, even if it's to the spike, catching them on the way out. But they've all managed to slip away, so he's going away as well.
I like the diffuse tap. There's just someone on Navi going, can he defuse in like half a second? Is there new tech that's been added to Jet that we didn't know about? Obviously, we've seen some super dashes. Maybe there's super diffusers, but no, Navi do well. They take the side. Obviously, it was a retake attempt for Guild when they didn't really have the weaponry. Now you're going to have safe onto the operator as well, so that's going to change up the dynamic a little bit. Interestingly, though, that both of these sort of aggressive duelists are going to be in on the B site. Normally, you'd see A site as the more aggressive of the two, so I imagine we're either just going to see the wall utilized for safety purposes or just very reliant on Navi playing slow, which they will.
Oh, SSK certainly wishes he took this one a little bit slower, but I'm not sure what he could have done. All he tried to do was peek a little doorway, thought he'd be safe. Unfortunately, he met that operator, and now Navi, the slower plan, really kicks in here. They're going to fight for a little bit of map control elsewhere, and they've been denied it on middle, so it's the push-up on A. Cloud's not met any resistance here. He can feel out that gap, and it's confirmed when you see this drone coming over.
Cool. I'm not going to get much info off it, other than the fact that they haven't pushed all the way up. But off the back of that lack of information, Navi are actually going to start to make their move, so it could end up working in their favor. The thing is, nobody's really rotated off, and while the game has been given away by the 0 point.
Oh, the spam is good. Trek's taking down Zeddy. That's going to put a bit more pressure on the clock, allow those rotates to come in, and Guild are now firing away that utility. Good damage out of it. Trek's in a bit of danger because they haven't spotted Cloud, and down below he needs to be rooted out, and his teammates dive in to help him, but he's left all alone. A player dropping from above, and the ammo runs dry. That's the end of the round for Navi. A good attempt. But ultimately, Guild are bouncing right back into things.
Yeah, ran out of bubbles, unfortunately. It is a burden we have to deal with. A 3-1. Yeah, Guild looking, again, fairly comfortable. I think the fact that they're able to just work the picks in the early round and then just play these retakes. And one of the things I will say, we see this plant being attempted by quite a lot of different teams. Most of them use the Sage Wall alongside it, because that's the risk. If you're just going to plant in a spot that's that spammable, even this wall, okay, it has its value to just slow them down on the retake, but you need to make sure that player is kept safe, either by just making sure you have deeper control of the site and stopping someone from being able to just spam it, or on the other side of things, just use the Sage Wall for that instead.
I'm curious to see how you make use of some of these weapons here for Guild. Coldamenta up close on tube. There's an orb there as well. Navi will look to try and fake that out on the crossover. Looks like the wall was going to go down for a second, but hearing that spray away, I think they realized, yeah, okay, it's just going to get broken instantly. They're still fighting around this area. So instead, Leo comes over and trying to fight for some of this control, but Zeddy's winning that with a Spectre. Now it's an even fight versus Coldamenta. Coldamenta, I guess the element of surprise paid off.
Yeah, Trex might even just deny this plant with Hunter's Fury as well. Like, he's got the shock darts ready. I assume that needs some combination or alongside the snake bite, but it seems like that hasn't actually worked. Oh no, it did! The second one catches him instead. So Dinks will go down. The plant still comes through, but that's huge value found.
Managed to catch them on the way through. Now the cancellation. Cloud looking to really keep them back. No supporting utility. Coldamenta and Russ go down immediately, and things are looking tough. Trex immediately dropped. Safe 1v2, operator in hand, and just no time here, but they're beaking him. Tom, they swing right into him. That's one for him. The Hunter's Fury, though. That should secure the round. A good delay on that second pulse. It'll be tough. It's close. Oh, it's very close. They must have clocks in their head. They felt it. Wait to see the clock pop up and see how much time he had left. What point? Barely any time. Barely any.
They had 29 seconds.
Yeah, no, 0.29 for a second, I thought. Yeah, that was incredibly close. I'm surprised with that peak.
I like this from Duno, or Dino, I think, as we've now been told by our Polish representative on the desk. But I like the fact that he actually just delays the pulses enough. Like, he knew he connected on the first one, so realistically, all he has to do is make sure there's no one on the defusal, and that's quite easily done with that ult. So, a close round, but one still going in the favor of Navi. We are going to see the Blade Storm come online a little earlier. Leo also has invested into a Guardian, and although the ult's not fantastic, because a lot of the time the fire rate can actually end up with you missing the shots. With a Guardian, just having that ability to heal back up and escape, it might actually be able to bring a little bit of value if Leo actually ever uses it.
And a retake on A here, but they're very quickly moving over. Guild with a clear read on what's going down in this round. Navi stepping their way forward with plenty of pistols and a Blade Storm on the other side. This could be dangerous, and Leo's already started it out on that Guardian. Now the danger revealed. The Blade Storm and 4 players spotted. Navi realize they've come to the wrong side of the map, but it's too late. They need to try to at least carve out a part of this map as their own, get a bit of control, but at least they managed to drop Rust. They still haven't managed to find that safe corner. Leo down as well, though. The numbers are thinning. Guild looking less and less dangerous by the minute. The res. Still no plant. It's going to have to be attempted soon. The Blade Storm's still lurking. And there it is. Dinks J's down. Spike in the open. Only the Blade Storm left to deal with. Safe. Swinging wide, and he spotted them both. 6 seconds. He just needs to deny the plant. Just needs to get in there. He's not on time, but 3. No 4th to be found. Zeddy on the rope saves the day. What a close one, but Navi edge it out at the end.
Yeah, Navi are not really getting through any of these rounds cleanly. You could look going into this next one. They're going to be fine just because they still have the Tour de Force coming in onto SSK. But yeah, both teams still on the brink of actually being bankrupt financially. So the next round could actually be worth a couple for either side. The thing is, though, for Navi, as long as they're grinding out these rounds, they're not going to matter too much. I think SSK, especially onto that defense, is going to be able to come onto his own. And we saw the stats from last week. The guy was on fire. I think definitely deserved a victory versus Liquid. And I think that's one of the things, I sort of mentioned it prior, but I feel like out of all the teams within this group, Navi have been the most hard done by because they've not had a game where, I don't think they've been 2-0'd a single time. They barely lost to BBO. In fact, they probably should have won it on Icebox. I think it was 18-16, and then they lost in OT to Liquid as well. Like, they could be already through.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, there's been a couple of teams this season who've been in that spot. Good opening for Safe. SSK down. Huge scalp to take. Zeddy almost followed as well, and he was left down to just a sliver of health before that heal came back on through. Luckily, the rest of the team's been able to... Well, the rest of the team minus the spike. It's a little bit worrying seeing Dinks J on his own here. But I think he's... So I would think that he's here to late play, but it unsettles me having him alone. Like, all 3 players going mid is a big gamble for Navi. See if it pays off.
Where do you plant now? Is he just going to try and plant default? He is.
It's a huge fake.
It's kind of worked out for them. Like, he goes and plants. Obviously, if there was anybody anywhere else and they could have spammed through the wall, it would have worked, but they used the wall spam to actually allow the other players to get through. That's really smart. I don't think it would work every single time, but I really like the idea.
Yeah, that is probably not going to be attempted again in this map by Navi at least, but that was incredible. As I said, a huge gamble to send the 3 players there. There are risks to it. If the operator pushes through that Viper wall and is holding aggressive, And I mean, I would challenge you just to look at the team you're against. There's a severe possibility in this matchup, especially someone does that wild card ludicrous play.
Oh yeah,
If
or
your
even just
spike goes
swings
in-
around the wall while he's planting,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
even just swings around after he's planting and just diffuses. Like that's the main issue with that. But they are so confident because of the way that Guild have been playing with plant denial. That they've been putting snake bites, everything down. That the second he goes to plant, they're going to spam the wall, and that player spamming the wall is dead. He's not going to be able to turn around. So I like that it's almost a direct read on what their opponents have been doing, rather than just like if they just did that on a whim. Mental.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely
Exactly.
mental, but they did it based on what Guild have done before.
Yeah, and they knew that the rotations had come in as well, right? So you know there's going to be people here. The eyes are immediately going to go to B site and stopping you from getting any more control. And maybe there's one lurker, but like when 3 guys come swinging through, just that firepower being there that early is not expected. And it caught them completely by surprise. Caught everyone by surprise, I think. That was gorgeous. Now, 4th found for Navi. The slow play style comes back into effect. And an immediate skirmish onto Leo leads to a 1-to-1 trade. SSK has not been having a great time in early duels. This guy has been shut down, but the trades are there.
Zeddy with another. Potamenta does manage to trade. That's going to be a rifle into his hands. If somehow Russ can get something done from here. Oh, they've not checked it, but the last second. Luna's going to turn around. It's left now onto Potamenta. As said, that's gun been retrieved, but I think they can have a... Well, they should have a pretty decent idea who's here. And luckily, again, the Sova closes out the round. Navi now 5-3 in the lead. It was some shakier rounds, Mitch. And, okay, sure, that was still only 2 players surviving versus what was pistols. But 5 rounds is not bad already on the attack.
Yeah, I mean, they've certainly done well. I think this could be a lot shakier. And with the start that they have with the team that they're up against, with this being Guild's map pick, you know, there's a lot there. But I think you have to look at Guild and what they're fielding right now, you know. Cook asked the question on the desk, like, what if they fielded at playoffs? What do you think, Tom?
No.
I mean, look, there's always the possibility of a flex. Well, if he's going to be doing stuff like that, I said SSK in early duels haven't really mixed well so far, and yeah, that seems to continue on.
Let's put it this way. If CNED had the initial idea to do it and decided, actually, this probably isn't a very good idea, I don't think Leo needs to do it.
True. Fair. Maybe Leo's just the best Reyna of all time. That's... I mean, that could be why Lothar loves him.
Yeah, of course. That's why Lothar really he knew this was coming. Like they're obviously very good friends.
I heard he actually DM'd Leo and came up with this strat. Leo said, "I'm not sure, but all right, Lothar, I'll take you at your word.
I
give it a shot.
trust you on this one."
Yeah. Well, tag up on Trex. He's not going to have any ability to fight through that wall. I mean, they weren't going to plant with the snake bite there. That seems like an early wall to go up as well, but here comes the plant anyways. Still got a little bit of cover, but not enough. Thinks Jake Cloud both down.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, now the time's an issue. That's the thing. When this wall doesn't work out for you, the rest of the strat just becomes what else you can find. Leo's just decided that he's had enough. He's going to get a multi-frag in this round, and well... 5-4. Still in favor of Navi, but that breakback I think is going to do real damage. Okay, there's still a buy for this round, and I think maybe the next will be a bit of a scrape, but I think they should be able to get it. Do you know what else I thought, Mitch? There's another man, someone who's inspired a lot on our desk who could have come up with this comp. A man who used to play for Guild, brilliant in-game leader. Kakuka's a big fan. Maybe this is from the Bonkar strat book.
I doubt it. I don't want to besmirch his name on this broadcast by associating him with this sort of strat. So I'll say no.
Maybe Leo was just feeling it today, you know?
Hey, he's just feeling it. Yeah, he's pulling the jing. Last night he's just.
Oh, I was more hinting at a Yasit, but jing works too.
Yeah. No, I prefer to go for a jing, but I suppose in the context of Guild, that does make more sense. His chakra told him.
Of course.
I don't know if it tells you stuff. I'll have to get you seen on. We'll have the tell-all with you, Tom.
Yeah,
Figure it
no,
out.
mine told me to get some fried chicken for lunch today, and my stomach, on the other hand, wasn't as happy about that decision.
Just wait till tomorrow, Tom. You're gonna meet a new, get some advice from somewhere else. We got Leo coming up close. I like this. The Viper's Pits traded out. That's going to be an interesting battlefield. Leo hesitant at first, and when he eventually steps in, Zeddy on the other side waiting for him, but he's dropped by Coldamenta. The shock dart on Dinks J. A shot through the wall. SSK just can't get a break, man. Not even walls can protect him at this point. Navi falling apart on this A site take. They've invested a lot, but they've gotten nothing for it. And now trying to get even this spike down is next to impossible. Cloud needs this fight, but oh, he's actually gotten it. With 10 seconds left, he needs to plant right about now, and he's being shortied, so that'll just about do it. Yeah.
The headbutt strat came out from safe just to try and close out the round, but that'd be a fun way. You buff Jet by, if you dash right into someone's face, they take like 50 damage.
No.
I like that idea. It's a good idea.
I don't think so. The Russian B, you just go dashing through. Maybe if you, I would agree if you have Blade Storm online.
Damage. So actually, it's like it's not gonna kill anyone.
If they're 50 HP. I mean, if you have Blade Storm online, though, it makes sense, right? You'd be dashing with a bunch of knives around you. That would actually do damage. So.
Well, you can like they almost like float around you like a little skirt.
It's like in Mario Kart when you got the 3 little green shells and just hover around you. Little shield for you.
If we could steal the music as well.
I'm not sure. Whoa, Tom. All right, you got 5 seconds and then copyright kicks in, so you got to be careful here. You got to start counting in your head. You're gonna have to do that for the spike as well. It's already been planted and Guild. Well, they want to carve their way back into this. Should be easy enough against some of these weapons. SSK down and out. Able to get up to too much, and Leo's carved his way through that wall. He's made it to that yellow, but Cloud's waiting here and got hit by every piece of utility the Guild had to work with. Oh my. I mean, they'll struggle to stop the defuse at this point. Dinks J on 7 HP. It's all about delaying time, though, letting Zeddy get up on this flank. He spotted. They needed some people to still be alive on the front lines. Well handled. Guild get up to 6 here on the defense.
Yeah, they're just streaks of brown coming in for either side, and Guild have at least got themselves back to level. Obviously, this is a map that we saw them play quite recently versus Liquid, and really didn't go particularly well for them. Switching up their compositions a little bit in an attempt to try and get something done, and well, we also saw this map played by Navi, and they got absolutely smashed by Mech. So it really is almost like a bit of a middle ground on the start. The thing is, of course, like I feel like going into this series, there is going to be Guild sort of testing stuff out. Like they might say like, oh yeah, we're coming into this game and playing it a little bit more lightly. I'm sure that's the case, but similarly to like FPX and Ascend, you're not going to want to show too much, but you might want to test a few things that you haven't really run so much before. Or just have some fun, which seems to be what Leo decided to do today.
Again, highbrow strategy, Tom. You just don't get it. There you go. Quick double. Leo proving why it works, why it should be the pick.
Spike down A.
Quick little double. Followed up Coldamenta and Russ. Good old Dino. Again, shout outs to Lothar for letting us know. Our Polish rep for hitting us up with how to say this. Dino. Thank you, Lothar.
Yeah, after that half, you know, it didn't quite go the way that they probably wanted it to, so Dino might be feeling a little sore.
I don't like you, Tom. That's wow.
See, this is the thing they don't realize is they have basically, I say they because Kukuka has basically been messaging us saying that from week 1 she's been telling us it was Dino, and we decided not to call him that. And now that Lothar said it once, we have. But I decided to respond with dinosaur puns instead.
There you go. That's how it goes down sometimes. To be fair, I'm not sure anyone ever told me that, but you know, it is what it is. 7-5 at the half. Look, I think Navi would have wanted a lot more for sure. They're going to be a little bit disappointed with the way it went in the end, but it doesn't put them in a terrible position. to move forward at this point. Pistol could carry some big value with a great shock dart. That double bounce.
Do it again.
Antonio's got another, but it's a little late.
Aw.
Leo's already bailed out of that position. He wasn't going to get hit twice by it.
And obviously for him, if he gets a kill, I don't know if you knew this, but he can devour health. It doesn't work quite as well if he gets shot in the face, though. Unfortunately, he still dies just like the rest of us mere mortals. Still, though, it seems like Guild are taking a leaf out of the Navi strat book. Incredibly slow default round. Zeddy in quite an audacious position. He's got to be careful here. And while already dropped low, his teammates coming in to support. Dash activated for safe. And while the rest of the team is starting to make their way towards the B side, it does, however, seem like Navi have a pretty damn good read.
Yeah, they're starting to move over towards this position, and, well, it doesn't even matter about the rotations. Even just Dino being there pretty much ends Guild's plans to get that plant down. The spike's in the open. They've got to rely on big kills being found on this split, and now it's being spotted safe. Unable to get anything done from there. Still making a bit of noise, though, and Coldamenta might just have to jump on them now. The distraction was in. The cloud's gone down, but somehow, seemingly after he died, he's taken safe. The bullet in the air as he went down. Well, that is going to be a sixth found, and Navi have got the pistol. I feel like they needed this one, Tom. And with that under their belt, hopefully they're right back into this, slingshotting themselves into the half.
So I've now got a message from Lothar saying it's actually Dino, and we said it wrong again. In other words, everything's just very confusing, and I don't know what it is.
Great. That's good. I guess you could say we don't know. Well,
that was literally the joke I made. That's
Yeah.
literally the joke.
No one saw it coming, Tom. It was as obvious.
It's always better the second time.
Oh yeah, because yours was the first. That's the first.
Yeah,
that's
no,
ever
I
been
came
said.
up with
Yeah,
that joke.
That is true, actually.
I will claim the dinosaur joke though. It's not. I don't think anyone's done that.
for
I
good
think
reason.
Pansy's a little bit more highbrow. And well, if Zesh made the joke, I wouldn't have understood anyway.
No, that's
No, I'm
just
joking.
mean. Poor Zesh.
I do miss the Clutch Minister. That's still one of my favorite Zesh
Clutch
quotes of all
Minister.
time.
He's here to get his taxes, man.
Yeah.
You gotta pay up. That's just how it is. Well, listen, Tom, this round here, it actually does see a little bit of a
Leon's
tussle
fought
from
quite a
Guild.
bit.
Yeah. I mean, not just that. You've got Safe coming in on the Sheriff, the Headhunter. SSK gonna catch Leo, though, right away, and he's out. He's free.
Uh-oh. Oh, he's run out of the Headhunter bullets. Trex has also picked up the Marshal, so still an opportunity to try and do a little bit of damage. Even a plant here just to earn some of those extra credits back and see how much damage they can do in the off. Cloud's just running it down, though. Managing to deny the plant, drop the spike. More farm, up a few orbs along the way. Dino is going to steal them away alongside ZD.
ZD.
Maybe I'll just change some other names as well. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, Tom, you seem to just do whatever you want at this point. You're calling him a dinosaur. I mean, it's just not, it's unreasonable.
Dinosaurs are cool.
Call for it. It depends. I'm sure there's some pretty uncool ones. I remember I used to have the, what are they? The top trunks. You guys have those? I'm always so
Did you
worried
say
that
top trunks or top trumps?
top trumps, isn't it?
Yes,
Top
because
trunks,
top
yeah.
trunks would be like, I've got dinosaurs on my swimming shorts.
Yeah. No, it's top trumps. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, it's been so long. Yeah, I used to have dinosaur ones, and there was a little green guy. He looked like a human, but he was green, and he looked pretty. He looked like ET. To be honest, I wouldn't say that's a cool dinosaur. T-Rex, sure. Pterodactyl, sure. Little green guy, I don't know. Kind of a strange one.
Here.
You were
Are
calling
you
him a
sure
cool
it
dinosaur.
wasn't like someone just slipped one of the like movie
Someone
cards?
just colored it in, yeah. It was just a fake one. All the writing was in a different language as well. I don't know why.
Poison's off.
And the quality of paper really went down. I had some Yu-Gi-Oh cards like that. I think I tried to use them in a tournament. It is what it is.
All
you
of
know.
Exodia in one card.
The full piece.
I win. No, nope.
I've just brought a 1-card deck with me today. Let's play. Oh, I've won again.
30
Unlucky.
seconds left.
Oh,
Well, 30 seconds. Luckily, we haven't missed much. SSK has
it's
gone
the
down,
slowest game of all time. We knew it.
and we are still waiting for them to try and get into an afterplant. Sage Wall's still online, so I assume that's going to be the plan. They've actually boosted above it, and Coldamenta's already going to kill the player attempting to deny. They have still managed to deny, though. 10 seconds left for Guild to try and get something done. And there's a tiny little gap in the wall. It has not worked out for them. Plant denied. Round over. Navi are going to win using the clock. I don't know if I've said that before.
Yeah, it's something that I think we can get used to. It's an icebox. It's these two teams, and I think that's enough said. To be honest, I thought we got quite a pacey half out of Navi on the attack, all things considered. Much faster rounds than I was expecting. And they were slow. This one here, though, yeah, they really ran it down on Guild. I don't know if we're going to see this from them again. I think they've realized, they will realize coming out of that how did it come down to pound for pound duels? They come out on top, right? They win that. Now you want to make it come down to pound for pound duels. Let's see how they approach that. Quick play yet again towards this A site by at least one player of safe.
Oh, don't fall back.
Well, see, they're going to catch this, though. The wall's gone up, but that's actually with Zeddy on the other side of it. They're faking this out, taking the orb, like, oh yeah, I solo pushed, I walled it, I took the orb, I'm gone. Little do they know that Zeddy is just around the corner, and there it is.
I was about to say, he's got to break the wall to be able to escape. It definitely had its risks about it. Cloud, already spotting the push elsewhere. It does really seem like nobody has places to be today. Just want to sort of chill out, relax, take their time. With 50 seconds left on the clock. Slowly making their way in towards this A site. SSK once again is going to teleport back into his little hidey hole. And it seems like they're going to go for a last-minute rotation. Now, Dink still has a slow available, so he can deny them that extra little bit of time. And I think Zeddy hasn't actually spotted them crossing back, but will have heard some of the footsteps.
I mean, they're not looking to get the plant because the spike's running the other way. They're taking all this control on A, but I'm worried about the time here. 10 seconds left. Where's the spike going now? It's running back up through mid. 6 seconds left. Well,
I think I'll lose on time 2 rounds in a row.
Last player standing. Spike down B.
Guild, please. Please don't. I expected this from Navi, but I can't. What? That's back-to-back rounds where the clocks run out.
I don't understand the logic.
Did someone tell them we don't like Icebox, and they just went, how long can we make this game? They're gonna wait until like 11 rounds and then be like, right, let's start winning.
It's just the chaos of that situation. They're set up for B, but Safe is lurking through A the whole time. They're not in a bad spot if they go B, wall it, and plant, right? They have their Viper wall up and everything, plant, and then have late lurk on Safe. That's an option. Fake B, go back to Safe with 15 well, I think like maybe 20 seconds when that call was made. That's a big commitment. And then Safe obviously hadn't finished pushing, so he has to still get a little bit of extra control. He dies, then you're like, oh, I'm in spawn and there's 10 seconds left. You know, it's GG. There's nothing to do. I don't know what happened there. Strikes me as just overcalling and complete chaos in the lines.
Well, brilliant lit. See, it made all the difference for Leo. He's only going to get one, though. SSK is able to trade it back straight away. The Hunter's Fury popped. You can see Trex trying to take a little bit of space. He succeeds, and him and Coldamenta combine. It seems like the pace change, picking it up, has actually worked out for them. Who could have thunk it?
Dings
Go for this res.
He's going for it, yeah. He's been stopped for a moment, but right back on it. This guy's just using it to bait them out into the open. Taking kills. All right, I like it, Dinks J. Trex, 16 HP. A lot of danger here with them both stacked up, and there's the swing! The firing squad of Navi takes it across the line. I love that off angle for the man we don't know how to say his name. They're going to hit double digits here. Fantastic showing by Navi. I mean, look, we'll say what we will about Guild and the comp they're playing and yada yada, but the reality is Navi right now are punishing them. And coming into today, I wasn't sure that's something that we would see.
Yeah, no, for sure. I will stand by the fact that I think that I wouldn't have, like, if Navi had made it through to the playoffs as the third team, I would have been perfectly happy with that. I think that they have looked good this season, but they've choked wins. And I think that's the sort of unfortunate truth of this squad is they're not quite there yet. But I hope they're a team that will stick together and can build off of it, because I think they've got some very talented players. Some a little bit more hit and miss than others. I think SSK has absolutely mind-blowing games, and then games a bit like this, where he's like, he's okay, but he hasn't really performed too highly. We even mentioned that Dino is someone who I think is one of the best support players in the entire league. I think he's fantastic. This game, he's even popping off individually as well, which is definitely helping them in that regard. I will say the scoreboard right now, other than Dino, looks very weird. Like, it's 10-7 in favor of Navi, and all of their players bar one are negative, and all the players bar one on the other side are positive. That's quite a peculiar scoreline. I think that's something that happened in another of Guild's games. I think it was versus Big on Icebox, where they just, I think it was the first half, they lost 7-5. And if you look at the fragging stats, absolutely slaughtered them. It's just a Guild thing to do. But yeah, they're going to need to really step it up on this attack side if they are going to be taking this map.
God, there's a whole lot to be done here. SSK, though, early duel working out for him on this defensive side. Able to pick off one. Guild slowly being thinned out. Their pistols not really matching up to the range that Navi have found. They're flanking up through this A push, and I mean, now they're just trapped, just stuck in these corners. The good thing is they've got a minute 10 on the clock, and from what we know, no shortage of patience. These pistols, there's a chance they try to just isolate some of these more aggressive Navi players and make them push into unfavorable fights, or even just group up and take those 3v1 duels where they can. And they look for opportunities, and I guess Navi's job is just not to give those away. Yeah, the economy is decent for the defensive side, so it's not like they can't lose a few players. SSK already going down. You certainly don't want to be dropping too much more.
Oh, drone spotted. I think every single piece of information is there at the moment for the side of Navi. They've also got the players locked in from behind with the current spot that Dinks is currently sat in. And, well, Cloud is just going to rain down from above. Easy round for Navi, and as you said, the credits now are starting to look a little bit ridiculous on their side, winning 6 rounds in a row on the defense. It really does seem, if this team doesn't have to move, they're fantastic.
Not very much. I think with the streak of rounds that they're building up here, confidence is sky high. They've got Breeze coming up next. I mean, this has got to be a comfy spot, but Navi have had a couple of series this season where it looked like things were kind of under control for them, and then towards the end they end up spiraling out and falling short of that victory. It's definitely somewhere that on that defensive side, Navi are going to be tuned in from start to finish. There is no taking your foot off the accelerator in this. If Guild are playing these weird comms and they're going to approach some rounds in a little bit of a funky way or make mistakes, Navi are more than happy to let them do that and exploit those mistakes at this point. Whatever it takes to get that win. And the push-up on B here. The push-up on mid already catching Leo. And then the B play actually might catch them a very early flank. They have a gap in the wall they wanted to fight through, but it looks like Guild just won't peek it. They're being very cautious.
Yeah, well, I guess at this point it doesn't even matter so much for Navi. Already getting the first couple of opening picks. I think running through a snake bite to try and get the trade, it just gave Zeddy some much easier kills. Also, the fact that they got rid of Russ, so anybody needing a heal on the other side is already gone. It's bad. And again, we're getting down low on the clock, 35 seconds, and they're still just edging their way in towards the B side. Zeddy has also got a fantastic read on this. Edging through that, he'll go down to incredibly low HP. I don't know, he's going to go through the other side. Oh, it's completely unnecessary.
Zeddy had such a good read on that, Tom. Yeah, I have to
He
agree.
did up until that last
He had
second.
it
I don't know why he did it.
like a book,
Down B.
like a children's novel. He just read that with ease. It was beautiful.
That was his own screen as well.
It was,
So
yeah.
he could have just put the screen down.
Yeah.
Like, he could have just gone, I'll put the screen down, just check.
well. I think the screen was more for B site.
But then don't push through it.
Yeah, well, I'm with you there.
Match
I'm not.
point.
Listen, I'm not disagreeing with
If
that.
you're
I'm saying I
desperate
don't
to
think it
look
was as
through it.
simple as putting the screen down. But
Oh,
yeah, maybe
God.
running through it wasn't the ideal play on that one.
I guess, again, it doesn't matter. Navi taking a timeout. I wonder if this is the flex timeout. It's like, yeah, 5 rounds up. It could also be, because as I sort of said earlier, they are a tad choky at times. Like, we've seen them lose multiple maps in overtime. I think, again, if you go back and look at the BBL game, they were quite far in the lead on Icebox. Would have been a 2-0. Actually would have been one of the difference makers when it comes to their potential qualification, especially when you look at Mech right now. They would have both been they'd be 2-2, Mech would be 2-3, and they'd have a real chance of actually making it through right now. Obviously, I think it's down to the head-to-head map difference between the teams, so I don't think they stand a chance in that regard. But obviously the main cause of this group is going to come down to tomorrow. Guild already through in first, so they're going to skip that extra stage, which there's actually a huge advantage, because whether or not teams are saving strats for now, you're probably not going to be doing that when you get into that upper bracket match.
Probably. I mean, at that point, it better not be.
It depends who you're playing, right?
I
Let's be real.
suppose. Yeah, I suppose.
Like, if you're an FPX and you come up against, I don't know, let's say Big get through, maybe you save a little.
Yeah, I guess the perspective though never really sits well with me, like saving strats. I think a lot of it is like experimenting with new things, right? Like you have, I guess it is because like you have your strat that you know is going to work, but you also want to show your little bit of a flex, test it out, make sure that on those off comps you can play it. It's always good to
double up
have that
right
little
now.
bit.
You've got Dinks playing the Sage op. I assume he's going to have another gun on the deck. He does. There you go. He's already picked it back up. Rez will be coming through. Can't spot him over the top of the wall. But again, it's still just buying a lot of time. Minute up and coming on the clock. And, well, you've had a very aggressive push from Safe in towards that B site. But otherwise, again, the rest of the team almost just lurking back. You've also got the Viper's pit down. And Trex does still have his drone. I think that's going to be the most important piece of utility that's currently available, because he has drone and he has a Hunter's Fury. So, if anything, they should be able to kill Zeddy here.
Oh, here comes the drone. Let's see if it can find him. Creeping up. It heard the snake bite moments ago, but Ring a Rosie said he's gone all the way around. And he's caught a double. His teammates might find it easier to clean up some of these players still decayed, but actually the decay is going to fade away. Coldamenta grabbing the spike, but he's caught on the way back through to site. 10 seconds left, and again the clock proves to be an enemy of Guild. He's got to get this spike planted. Trex not quite able to get the kill, and here they come, or so he thinks, swinging on in and getting taken down by the man who's been dominating from the start of this map, closing it out. Those just being incredible. 13-7. That is a statement map out of Navi, Tom. And
Yep.
we have various excuses for Guild, but the reality is Navi played incredibly well here as well.
Yeah, no, again, very impressed with Dino's performance. Like 21-9 on a Sova, had some very high impact rounds. I think also on the defense, they were just sublime. Like the way that they managed to close things out, the way they managed to delay. And one of the main issues, obviously, was just the pacing. I expected Leo and Safe on this double duelist to be incredibly fast, and they just weren't.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit left to be seen from this lineup. Maybe we're not going to see the same face out of Guild coming on into playoffs. Let's hope. But we'll see if even the second map might have some surprises for us, Tom. Who knows? Let's find out after this break. We'll see you guys in just a couple minutes.
Dare to challenge yourself. Who's next?
What if I told you you could win a VIP trip to Copenhagen to watch Masters 2 in person? Well, by playing these 3 new AIM Lab tasks, you can earn a chance to win a trip to Masters for you and a friend. The more you play, the more chances you have to win. Train your aim for a trip to Masters. Are you in?
Red Bull gives you wings.
The bricks feel different on the spine. This is it, Tony Hawk, how I'm getting on my grind. It's all in the mind, I don't even need a sign. Come back, get applying pressure from behind. I ain't got no enemies, turn them all to allies. Face painted, no cat eyes, ship never been capsized. My rationale different cause I made it. No street sweeper, I just gallop off the pavement. Money made weather, yo, I came in trying to be the greatest. Not the only, but the latest. Had to keep it like the cadence. If the planet hit it, save it. I'll be in the conversation. It's amazing how the plan come together like a compilation. If they counting on me, then I hate to keep them waiting. Let's go. Our backs to the wall, but they counting on me.
Dare to challenge yourself. Who's next?
We are back with VCT Emea Challenges Week 5. We are one map into our first series, Navi versus Guild. We kicked off on Icebox. Navi take it 13-7. My name is Ian Chambers alongside Lothar and Kakuka. Kakuka, are we making excuses for Guild here, or are we saying that Navi just came out swinging?
I mean, I am not going to make excuses for a Guild after not getting a single round on the attack. And some rounds, actually, they looked like they weren't taking it that serious, I'm going to say. Because when we look at the performances we're seeing on our screen right now, Dino was close to that 300 ACS, actually having the best performance that we've seen out of him for this first stage. Now, on the side of Guild, I cannot say the same. I feel like we've been played.
I have PTSD for 2 reasons, you know?
Okay.
Like this is the Guild that I was watching last year in the previous roster. They were running out of time. They were actually the slowest team last year, but this year it's Navi that is the slowest team, and now we had both of them playing against each other. So when you were listening to Tom and Mitch, they actually did a great job of filling time with information.
I think it was one of the funniest casts that we've had. So
loved
thank you,
it.
Tom and Mitch. I was having a blast.
And my second PTSD comes from the fact that it felt like I was casting Hearthstone. You know, again, it's like we had to fill a lot of time there. So
What's that game? I only know TFT.
it's very similar, by the way. But when it comes to this game, it's just like I don't know. I really don't know what's going on with Guild when it comes to that those executions. They were feeling like completely disjointed.
Yeah.
Like, why is one player moving towards like a lurk and getting map control when the other part of the team is not getting the pressure at the same time, or the reverse is happening? It was so just I don't know, divided. It seems like the team didn't know how to play together.
Yeah, completely. You move out from the Killjoy. You also move out from any other initiator besides the Sova, but the Leers are not strong enough, are not using the spots that they are. So I do not think the Guild is going to keep this composition after playoffs. Now that they have nothing to fight for and they're secured, maybe, you know, they just want to think of getting ready for playoffs and not show anything else. On the side of Navi, I think that the reason why they were so proactive on the defense actually looked flawless. They know exactly how to play against a team that is that slow.
Yeah. Because
It's like, oh wait, we're playing against.
it's like a
We know
mirror image.
exactly where they are.
There was a strong performance, and in particular, Dino really stood out on the side of
You mean Dino?
Dino.
Duno.
Duna?
It's
Una.
It's Dino.
Yeah, it's Dino. The U is actually a cursive I in the Cyrillica, so this is why this is Dino.
I told Lothar this information, by the way. I'm joking. Great player. and a really strong map from him there.
Yeah, completely. I was saying that this has been his best performance. There's a lot of weight in his shoulders, not only because he's calling for the team, but especially since SSK was not finding the opening kills. We were talking about him on the pre-show and how he was part of almost all of them. The fact that he was getting shut down over and over every single time at the beginning of the round was the need and the call for the rest of the team, the teammates to actually pop off. And Dino was there.
Yeah, absolutely. We were just sat in the green room, and I said to Lothar, what would you like to show us on the telestrator after this map? And he said, some stupid stuff. So do you want to show us some stupid stuff?
I mean, there were some situations like I think. I don't know, guys. You judge it yourself, okay? Because this is a round that you should never lose. Like, this is one of those rounds where one of your opponents is already down. It's a 2v3. The KO is already, like, kicked down to the curb, and he's getting rezzed, right? You get info that Dinks is rezzing him. He's exactly in that position. And it seems like just Guild wanted to get that guy, you know? Don't give him the space even to get that res. But because of that, they lose the Viper's Pit. The Viper's Pit was the win condition. This round was fully locked down because of the Viper's Pit. But that overconfidence, I would say, on that peak, on Coldamenta, essentially just gives the out to Navi. And now Navi is in a 2v2 situation where the Viper's Pit is not giving anything. And again, a weird spacing out of the double peak when it's an insta trade from Navi essentially gives them a win on this round. But not only talk about bad stuff, look at that. There's a telestrator segment about Reyna's utility. Look at that. Who would have thought?
Never
Never would have thought. See, look at this. Beautiful usage of utility from Reyna. She's actually just getting the info. Ah, there's a guy here, you know? And then she goes back. And now we're gonna see how Leo, though, plays very smart movement, though. What he does here, by doing this movement here, so goes first up on the top side and then goes back and jumps in this position. He's essentially buying space for the second player to swing, and because they like inter-exchange positions, he literally just completely ruins the crossbow placement of the opposing player. Very nicely played. And also, last round here, I'm just gonna play it. I don't know, Trex literally had info on both players being rafters, and instead of just planting safe and having a choice of winning a post plant, he chose the very high risk, very high reward of getting a duel in a 1v2. Yes. But Navi is not gonna give in to that. No one is gonna double peek that. You know, very odd choices.
Kakuku, we've said it a million times, Guild are locked in the playoffs. They know exactly where they are. They've got that first place locked in. That being said, if you don't take the second map Breeze seriously, you run a risk, right? You should always take every single map seriously, especially when you want momentum on your side going into those playoffs. Yeah, exactly. We saw it on the previous stage coming in from Guild, that they lost a little bit of that power, of that punch, of that fuel coming into playoffs, and we need them to take every single match seriously, of course, because we were discussing this in the green room, saying that it's not only that you have to take it seriously, if you start convincing yourself that you are okay making those mistakes, the moment when you play against the big guns, you're going to be like, oh my God, I just made that stupid mistake. I wonder why that happened. Yeah, do you think that's almost a bit of a slap in the face, like a little bit of a wake-up call coming out of map one to think, okay, maybe we need to readdress the way we've approached this series?
I probably would say it so, that Guild is like, you know what, guys, now we just win 2 maps in a row, right? Now we play fundamentally well, something that on Icebook was not there, and I feel like has to happen, because I don't think Guild doesn't want to have a 5-0 score in the group, even if they are locked in for the first place already. And it sucks for Navi, because we did touch on it in the pre-show, that in theory, this could have secured a third place position for them if they do get the job done here. That can't be the case, unfortunately. But that being said, a win here would give them some real bragging rights. Yeah, exactly. And not only that, they still have to fight for those points for LCQ. They want to have a comfortable position, knowing that they're not going to be last and that they can close this up. Now, we know it's Navi. We know that the likelihood of having a third map is going to be very high. But the surprise is still that both these teams have been dodging this map on this second stage. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the reason why Navi said, hey, Guild hasn't played this map. We know that they were pretty strong, but they were also losing their essence by the end of stage 1. Let's try and actually play something else. Let's play something new. I expect to see changes on both sides. I would love to see maybe some chamber on the side of Guild. I don't know. I mean, one thing that I want to mention is that this is the best choice. This is the best chance for Navi to actually lock it out and win the game, because Haven is Guild's playground, typically, historically speaking.
All right, talk us through what we're seeing as we finally get into Agent Select ready for map 2.
Yeah, of course, the Zeddy is obviously taking Jade's spot playing on the Viper, and actually I don't
Pretty
see
big changes. I mean, for Guild though,
on the side of, yeah.
we have the Chamber, no Cypher, right?
Russ going on the KO instead of the Sky. I think it makes sense. I think I like it. You know, Trex on the duelist, safe playing on the Chamber. It's a composition that I like. I don't think it's anything crazy.
Yeah,
but I expected to see something, you know, out of the box a little bit from Navi picking this map.
I really like the Guild's composition. It's a very metagame composition, but the difference between Sky and KO is actually huge when it comes to the actual executes, because it allows you to essentially just deny some form of utility that the opponent could have to slow down the push, to like just retake even. It gives additional info as well, something that we talked about, that the team with only a Fade and no other information gatherer agent might be a problematic thing to play on Breeze.
All right, well, let's get right back into it. It is map 2, Navi versus Guild on Breeze with Tom and Mitch. Now, when I threw to them last time, I said Titch because it was Tom and Mitch. This time, it's Mitch and Tom. Mom, take it away, Mom.
All right. It's better.
Thank you, son.
Oh, Tom, diving on into map number 2. Let's just breeze right past that one. What are you expecting to see out of these guys? I mean, Guild, I'm not really sure we can draw conclusions after the map that we just saw. And moving on to this map of Breeze, I'm not hopeful for it being a ton better. I'll be honest with you. Like, I think this team's going to be dialed in. They'll look for the win 100%. But, you know, Navi looked very good. They're coming on to very much of a comfort ground for them here. I think this would be, unless Guild come in just, I don't know, wanting it a lot more.
Guild have been, like, last season at least, Guild were very, very good on this map. And they haven't, like, drastically changed a whole lot, at least in terms of the compositions. Like, okay, the roles within the team have changed a little bit. They brought Chamber and KO in to be a little bit more meta. I think it's one of two things. Either this is a map that they have been practicing but haven't changed a lot since, like, last season, and thus the comp hasn't changed that much. Or they do have something a bit more spicy and they're never going to show it here, because why would they? Like, we've seen a few teams more recently try to run some more interesting compositions on this map. I was hoping for something like that, but as I said, if there was anything that Guild actually want to play going into the playoffs on this map, we aren't going to see it. So as said, this is fairly standard. Like, I think the potential of Trex and Safe on those two agents is enough to beat most teams, and I think it's definitely enough to beat Navi. So although I do think that this map could be potentially close, and the fact that Navi have picked it makes me a little bit more intrigued, especially considering that this was a map that they weren't particularly good at in the past, or at least, okay, it was versus FPX and Mech when Mech were in better form, but like I still can't see a particular reason, unless they have a game plan going in, that they would have chosen this map, and especially going into a Guild who haven't shown it.
Yeah, I guess there's a little bit of a risk there. For Navi, though, yeah, they have to have heavy preparations. The thing, you pick this map in this series especially, you know that, like, you want to be coming in and taking a win against a team like Guild, right? This is just a huge win for Navi in general, even if it's a game that doesn't necessarily matter to Guild. I find it weird to look at this map, because like after the first, I'm thinking like, okay, that could have went differently if we see this is like the first game of the season, for example. I think Guild have a different approach to it, and we have a different game. Then I don't know how to estimate Breeze. Are they going to come in and really give us a match? Either way, there's going to be a little bit of a pause. It seems like Colderman's monitor has died on him, so he's quickly getting that one fixed.
Is that his excuse for map 1?
I reckon it might be.
I was actually playing without my monitor on, so you know, now I'm playing, bro. Now I'm playing.
And on like, 30 hertz, that's my bad, bro.
Oh yeah, I've got my gaming chair. I've got my my whatever sponsored drink you'd like. And I'm gonna be so much better this one. I actually had my headphones on backwards, so like I was hearing footsteps on the right hand side, and they're actually on the left. So
that's the problem, man.
That's why we lost.
See, when you got a wired headset, it's easy. You just cable on the left, easy peasy. But wireless, I don't know what to do anymore. You know, I just lose it.
You know, I'm sure this is a problem that most people around the world can relate to. You know, when you're buying your wireless headphones.
Actually, that is a fair point. Wireless headphones are insane. Dude, I remember when they first came out, it was like 5 or 6 times the price of a regular model for a wireless version.
The one for me is having a wireless mouse, because for ages I was like,
I love
that
it.
would never catch on, and then I bought one. I'm like, oh my god, it's so much better. I hate
but
myself for
people
not
told
buying
me-
one sooner.
People were like, "Oh no, because it's wireless, dude. There's an input lag," and I think that might have been true 10 years ago. But like, obviously they're better now. Once you don't buy like a, I don't know, $2 one. So it's something that caught me off. Well, Tom, we're into things. That monitor's being fixed, but don't expect any action anytime soon. This is Guild Navi, after all. We're here on Breeze with a minute left on the clock, and having this Viper wall still to play with on the attack side. They haven't decided where they want to go. At least they haven't shown Navi. It certainly looks like they're going to be.
Well, yeah, and there's no one here. They're going to have the information, of course, because they've already managed to push through A. And well, they are going to be getting that spike down. And the thing is, it's not going to be easy, especially with this lurk play from Codementor. He actually manages to get to it. It turns out playing with your monitor on actually makes a fairly big difference. So he's been able to get a couple of kills. And, well, for the remaining players, finding a way back in here is going to be incredibly difficult. SSK is probably one of the players you want to be watching at this point. Obviously, Dino. The thing is, saying Dino for me, it just reminds me of like a sort of like...
Dino.
Yeah, exactly. Like an English geezer. Like, right, Dino? What? Like, I don't know if I'll be able to say that one seriously.
Nice shot, SSK. Not going to amount to all too much, though. A little bit of damage. 4 players. We're going to have to buy up their shields. Safe who's on half. It's a little bit of reinvestment. But for Navi, they don't take this pistol. And that's a foot in the door for Guild. I'll get to pull out a Bulldog round. 4 Bulldogs already and then a
5?
Ghost? I love it.
What do we call a full Bulldog round? A bull round? That doesn't
Bully
sound
round.
good. A bully round.
They're going to bully them.
I don't mind that. I don't know if it'll catch on. I don't know if any sponsor is going to want to take the bully.
So we've around based around bullying.
We
we'd
have
like
the
you to pay
Mitch
for.
Man bully round.
I think that's every round, Tom. Unfortunately.
Scanning ahead.
Yeah,
recon at
it
the
does
backside.
seem like teams always come up a little bit short.
Wow. All right. Well, you can cast the rest of this game yourself. Look.
Okay. Well, we don't have much invested on the other side. Few classics. Cloud has got himself a nice little Sheriff. Let's see if he can get anything done with it. Already spotted out. And he's dead. No, it's the one player who wasn't going to bully anyone. Has, well, created a Ghost on the other side as well.
Oh, I like it. Yeah. Really getting that space over towards the A site now. The plant coming through. And of course, they can hold range, which is exactly what you want. But this Bulldog for Leo. Grabbing the information, keeping the control.
Revealing area.
Just slowing them down on their way back through. This so they went and got the orb there inside of main, and now going back over to grab the plant. So stacking it up, and those orbs are going to Rust. Interestingly, Leo was out looking for some orbs in a more direct manner.
Enemy remaining.
Oh! What? When did he even shoot?
I think he must have right-clicked while he was in the air, and just Leo
Immediately
was
died.
so low that it killed him. But well, that shouldn't have worked. But I guess he'll take it all day long. Time to power up for the side of Navi, as they're going to be going in for an investment here. And yeah, it's basically going to be the same as the previous round, just keeping those Bulldogs through, pistol for Trex. Not really going to have any of the ultimates online, although it was, as you said, almost ult farming from Russ. Leo got nearly all of the kills, so he's actually just as close.
Yeah, they're set up to maybe have those ultis come through next round, but this one here is going to be tough. I think having the Bulldogs, you still want to get into that medium range. You don't want to be dueling from miles away. They're going to spam up a little bit. Nice shot by Safe. God, that's incredible. You know, I was almost going to question at the start of this with the headhunter for Safe why he's not giving the Bulldog to Trex, but I suppose it does also make sense, and that Trex probably plans to dive into a site a lot of the time in a round like this if you play slow.
Diving in with a Bulldog sounds like the worst idea known to man.
Diving in with a Sheriff, even better.
He only needs one shot, that's all it is. Too many bullets firing on the other side. Cloud, though, doing well to sort of lock down the site, at least delay, flash out. Russ is left. He's also tagged up. Manages to keep his position, though. He's actually going to go back in for more. Unfortunately, he's met the same fate as his teammate did.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, that's 1 by 1 now. They've fallen, and the spike is down. That's a huge error on the part of Guild. Getting back in going to be tough, but they're swung on by Cloud. 1 by 1 they go in. But Navi win the duels with Leo falling. It leaves it all on the safe, and well, that doesn't end too well for Guild. They've done damage here, Tom, but I can't help but feel like there was a lot more potential in that round.
Yeah, there's also a part of me that thinks that a lot of the Bulldog play works a lot better if you were to do that on defense. Just because you just hold an angle, ADS, and just basically do what Safe did at the beginning of the round. When you're actually pushing into a site, it's a lot more difficult because without the ADS, the gun's average as hell. Like, I wouldn't even rate it that much more highly than a Spectre, just because you can actually strafe a lot more with the Spectre. Either way, they're going to buy back up with proper rifles now, so that was just an attempt at causing some cost. The gun's not particularly expensive, at least in comparison to some of the other things we see bought in second rounds. They're already in the site.
Oh, yes. They're overrunning it, but there's still some players to deal with. See Cloud, Things J tucked in on the back, and they're holding their ground, but eventually overrun. Just too many players here for Guild. And Leo's extending a little further, doing the damage and leaving SSK as the last man alive. But he gets it into a 1v2. Winnable position, and with the spike still not down, this is a fantastic spot to play from. I don't know if he expects this to be an A play, or if he's coming on the wraparound through middle. If it's the mid, it could work out.
Yeah, I think he's realized he needs to kill Safe. Like, because otherwise, there's no... You can't exactly cross the site to actually go for plant denial. But now it almost seems like he has just got the wrong read. Or is just low enough that he wants to hold on to the gun. But that doesn't make a lot of sense when you have a Blade Storm for the next round anyway. So yeah, maybe just a bit of a misread in this scenario. And now trying to bait out steps, but there's no one close enough to even hear them.
Yeah, there's no chance at this point. Unless he grabs a kill in the next couple seconds, next 10 or so. He needs someone to peek. On the way back through, they'll double peek. They've got potentially utility. You know, from SSK's perspective, he doesn't know. He's up against a KO. There could be a trap waiting for him, as you can see, an elbow. There could be a flash coming out of the KO. To double peek at any moment. Crossfire. There's so many things that just stop him from going back in for that unless somebody wide swings and gives away the opportunity. And Guild just were not doing that. Tucking in, taking the third, pushing these rounds up into their favor bit by bit. Getting it done. I do look at Navi now, and sure, they've got a couple weaknesses in terms of economy, but with a Blade Storm in the mix, this is going to be another buy out of them.
Yeah, and they've got... the only thing maybe that I would change is just the fact that Zeddy's so close to his ult, maybe moving over to something like a Phantom, but I guess without actually having it online, it's not really a risk worth taking on a map like Breeze, where the Vandal is definitely favored in most scenarios. Nonetheless, a couple of ults on either side. One, I was going to say, is the null command, a chance to deny a lot of that early utility, especially with how close to the backside they've been playing. He can almost just utilize this alongside the 0 point and take out almost all their utility.
Oh, Cloud's wall banged down as well. I mean, the attempt to set up for a retake out of Navi, just seeing no results. And from now, you got to look at it as almost another... You're not going to save. You got a Blade Storm on SSK. You want to try to find a kill with that. But if he gets a frag, maybe they go for it. Maybe. He's got a rifle now, so the option to save opens up. And no picks, no opportunities, no overextensions from Guild. Again, very passive play. I think Navi are already thinking about the save. They're now thinking, how many players can we contain and make fall to this spike, or the Blade Storm, the weapons on the way out.
It's more important for the weapons to be held for Navi, though. But they are doing a hell of a lot of damage. In fact, they wipe everyone out. Nice little crossfire. Dino not over peaking either, so just making sure that his teammates able to basically clean up the remainder. And yeah, sure, they don't manage to win the round, but they keep the majority of the ults online. They pick up a rifle here and there. Again, though, it's just what they can actually purchase. And I feel like because they still have some of these ults online, they're going to take some risks. And as you can see, they're going to go for a Spectre just to use alongside the Viper's Pit. But there are a lot of scenarios where I feel like Guild are going to read this, bypass it, and then you're playing with a Spectre.
Viper's Pit A early. Wall down on B. With global coverage out of this Viper. A wall doubling up from mid cover too. I really like this setup out of Navi. That's going to be tough for Guild to deal with. And they've orbed up inside of halls themselves over on the Guild side and used it to try and sneak up, grab some control, deny any sort of push out of them towards the doors themselves or the switch in hall side. I just run a second Seeker.
Yeah, the Seekers has got them information, but the information is basically that just Guild is playing passive, so you can't really gamble too many rotations off that. It seems instead that because none of them stopped particularly close, they're able to actually push up outside A. Now, the trap actually covers off both exits in that direction, but that's not really the point. The point is that they now know it's a very small chance of this being an A take at this point. They might even be able to catch Safe on the way out. Oh, not quite. I feel like that should have been a free kill.
Oh, Dings J's got tagged. They know where he is. It's not quite going to get him, but it at least allows them to close in on the site. Guild need to plant, though.
Spike's down.
Yeah, they've only got 10 seconds, man. Someone needs to pick that spike up. I mean, they're getting kills, but is anyone... Okay, they've just about gotten on time. Just about, man. Down to the last second here. That is the scary scenario, but they've recovered it.
Yeah, I don't really know how that much value came out of Trex. I think it was just dashing into the site. Like 12 seconds left, spike down, 2 players at the back, and he wipes out 2, well, I think it was 3 even, and then I think Safe gets 1. Like that came down to the literal wire, and now it's left on to SSK. It seems like thus far in this game, he's been in the wrong place at the wrong time. Consistently on that A site, consistently having to try and win retakes where the Guild just aren't giving him anything. Nice shot at least to bring it down to 1. The spam so close. But Codimenta is going to give the 5th round to Guild anyway.
Well, it's a close one indeed, but 5-1. Those rounds keep on extending up for this attack side. They just don't seem to be hitting any errors in these last moments. It's crazy. The fact that they left it that close in the first place, but the confidence. Trex just keep on going, just keep on taking space, knowing that someone's going to come behind, someone's going to grab that spike. That's not his job, you know? He can't have the whole team running for the spike.
You want to play? Let's play.
Had me panicked. I don't know how it didn't have them panicked, but they got it done. 5-1 up against some mixed buy here. Judge on, you know, could be dangerous, but they're actually going all the way around through mid. Oh, they were.
Yeah, again, I think this looks almost like a direct counter to just what they were playing before. It's just, oh, okay, we've basically seen them just brute force in through B multiple times, so we're going to just try and stack up B main early. The thing is, though, with the ults that are currently online, you basically have the operator that you can just try and get a little bit more aggressive with and take these range fights if anybody goes looking for info. And then they've also spotted the players close on B, so it doesn't really seem like a risk worth taking, at least for now.
50 seconds on the clock. With Navi so heavily stacked up on A, Guild are certainly making the right choice unknowingly. Still have to deal with the Judge up close, but that's it dealt with. Revealed up close 1. Already found, and a little bit more. Okay, well, he should not have gotten that much damage in, but Codimenta again covering this. And a Viper's Pit down just to guarantee it. Perfect with the likes of Zeddy playing with a Marshall, but he's got killed a snake bite.
Yeah, and that's also got rid of the Viper's Pit, so this now becomes very, very difficult. They should have the information of where SSK is, but even just causing problems in the backlines. Low HP for Trex, and he's going to get taken out. It's now left all on to Safe. He wins this battle. He probably wins the round, but Zeddy, well, a couple of a snakebite kill and a couple of sheriffs, and Navi somehow have their second round. I'm not really sure how.
3v3 retake. You got two players who can actually fight these guys, and one guy way back with a marshal and a sheriff fighting into a Viper's pit, and he gets all 3 kills. Saves the round. Unbelievable. I mean, this was good. This was a little bit more value than I think. 1 kill was fine, 2, a little bit too much to be given up in that position. You've already got a player blitz through and everything. But for Zeddy, he shouldn't have gotten a single one of those kills.
Wow. A change up potentially now for Guild. Considering the scoreline, financially, not good. They're left with a Bulldog once again. Guardian for Coldamenta. They're going to take that early orb. It still doesn't get them anything in terms of ults online, but Russ is the only one close to absolutely anything at this stage. Now, with the presence they've had consistently over towards B, they could go back over, try and get him one away and see what they can find. But you can see on the other side, this time SSK has gone walkabouts. He knows how passive they've been, but if he can just lock down mid control, I think things become a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that they need to mix it up a little bit in that aspect. Throw in a curveball. Guild are doing well to avoid this unknowingly, just going all the way around through spawn on the rotations. Depending on the timing here, oh, he's going back. SSK might have caught them. But of course, he's been here for a minute. You know, he's not can't stick around there all round. But unfortunately, he has repositioned just in time to miss them. And so the crossback is found. Now the gamble being made for the B side. In fact, 3 players rotating off the contact that Guild feigned a moment ago. And now they look to take middle, which has just been given up because of the fake on B. Now they've got the control. They got Cloud with a knife out, and he's won it. He won the fight. How?
Oh, Trex. Some of the best aim we've seen this season, but it wasn't in that round. Even still, the rest of the team have just gone wandering onto the A site. It seems like they only start killing people after the 15-second mark. That's the problem. Trex jumped the gun a little bit, not realizing that his bullets didn't do damage at that stage. And while the remaining 2 players of Navi trying to fight this back, Zeddy again. Impact kill that could make all the difference as they swing back into the site. Another onto Leo as well. And now it's left onto Russ.
Oh, he's got one, and the info on the other. Dino's still alive, though. Rotating around to get to the spike. The flash is perfect, but Dino still wins it. The defuse found in Navi. They've just about snatched up a 3rd round here. I don't know what that's going to do to Guild's economy. I mean, they've won so many rounds. I feel like they'll still have a little bit left to work with.
No, I think they're in the bin.
Oh, actually, yeah, you're right. Completely ruined. Never mind. They can afford like a little bit here or there, but
it's how close things were. Like,
I can't believe that.
I just like there was definitely a moment in Cloud's head where it was like, I'm already dead. Might as well just keep twiddling the knife. And then it was like, this is taking longer than I remember. I'm going to switch to my gun and just pop his head and see. Yeah, Trex is going to want to forget about that one. Luckily, he's had so many insane moments in his career already. I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, I think he'll probably make up for it in the coming rounds, but
this
certainly
would be
a disappointing fight. Yeah, it would be a good one, Tom. I don't know that we're gonna.
You can't
give
whip
him that
a spray
ultimatum.
if you can't spray.
True.
There you go. The more you know.
He's gonna be more focused now. Hitting the first shot. Well, same man to fight as well. Trex out for vengeance. The tags are found, but no kill.
Yeah, Cloud, the only one with the ability to heal, so not going to be able to get back. Tiger going to give the information away of where Safe currently is, but there's Coldamenta. Dinks has been having a rough old time so far this game. We've seen some strong performances from earlier in the season, but definitely had some quieter moments. Remembering the Liquid series, I think he was quite far off the pace, and now Cloud, well, he cheated death, and it seems like it's come back to haunt him in this round. Coldamenta, they just use a snake bite to fake. Normally people drop their pistol down, but he's done it with utility instead.
Well, now he's actually dropped down, but SSK is still waiting. Catching him off and having the early flank. 3 versus 4. The weapons, not great for Guild, but they can at least try to keep them having any range duels. That was a little bit close. They've spotted Safe push up close. They know that he's here, but there's no one, and then there's dealing with him. A headshot and a body tag coming through. Good damage. Make it easier for the rest of the team, and that it did with Deddy going down. It's only SSK. Fantastic flash from Russ closes that out, and we get 6 for Guild. That's you know what, Tom? You said it'd be a good round for it. I didn't quite believe, but there you go.
Oh yeah, I obviously knew the whole time.
Yeah, my bad. I should have trusted you, Tom. What can I say? I apologize.
Just learn next time, all right?
Yeah.
6-3. The issue with that, of course, is that Navi scraped through the previous round and now have no cash again. It's a horrible scenario when you finally get yourself back on the horse and basically a kick straight off. But for Guild, great spot. 6 rounds already on that attacking side. They've got a composition which is going to allow them to basically have double escape mechanisms for aggressive pushes when it comes to defense. So I think they're going to be a terrifying force. Wouldn't even be surprised if at some point we see a double operator as well. It's something that a couple of teams have run on this map, and I think with both Trex and Safe, you have people with definite ability to be able to do just that. So I was more hoping that Navi would have a stronger defensive side. I think as well, this is most of the time where you expect your Cypher to shine. He has not. Granted, I feel like a lot of the takes have come in onto the B site, but I feel like we've even seen switch ups of Dinks and his utility onto that site, and they've still been completely overwhelmed. And obviously you don't really want to just harper on one player, but if you're a Cypher on defense with 0 and 9, it is a problem.
Any player, I think. Look, if you're sat 0 and 9, but yeah, especially if you're defensive side Cypher, you're having a tough time holding down those sides, providing that little bit of extra security. I do think that there's a little bit more to the problems, let's say, than just Dinks J. But we'll see if he can. It's certainly the more glaring one. See if he can step it up with the Marshall in hand. I mean, he spotted a lot of players, so good opportunity here. But now they're up close. Now he's in danger. Good flash though.
Oh! Hey! Oh, no way. This is a round they're actually going to win.
Wow.
Okay, I won't pretend to say I could ever see anything like this coming. They barely invested into this round. Coldamenta, though, whether it's cost or even just building up his ultimate. Now that one more kill, and he has his ult for the next round. That could be a definite difference maker. And well, this is the thing. Both teams are basically just winning rounds where their money's in the bin. So... I'm sure there's some prediction gods who will tell me that they saw this one coming, but I don't believe you.
Yeah, this is again, those last 2 rounds, head scratchers. They're wild, but that's what we're here for. Defensive side 4 rounds. I think they want to get a little bit more here, keep pushing up those numbers, and it's a good opportunity to get that done. They're up against a couple of upgrades. 2 Vandals. Russ and Safe pulling those out. Now, if Safe gets a kill, you're in a lot of trouble. All of a sudden, they've got a tour de force to play with. Close and personal here, SSK. He's in and out. I mean, that was dangerous. That was Safe just around the corner. He'd luckily gone for the elbow peek, though.
Especially in a round where you can have a pretty good guess that your opponent's going to be low econ. Very risky, but hey, it is SSK. Don't expect anything less. He's very far away from his ult, needs to farm it up. Tempting to be the eco warrior here, but it's much more than just an eco. Like, okay, sure, Safe has basically gone for the rifle as well, because even if he dies, he has tour de force. I think that's the more, like, they could use it to try and win this round, but they can also use it as a backup if they don't. Russ already going to get dropped though, not expecting Dino to be in such a far forward position. Come on now, Coldamenta attempting to try and look through. Even just breaking the trip though is going to force a rotation at least a little bit.
With the drone down on mid, seeing nothing, you know, if Safe again had to grab something, maybe they can get into the B site, can catch this player inside of mid off, but maybe with this rifle taken,
yeah,
they know that he's here, but it's a chance to fight.
Yeah, he's managed to kill off Dinks with that wrapper, and I said I thought the trip would give everything away.
Wow.
Coldamenta's now won a second duel. a whiff shot, the time ticking, but of course, as we know, it's in the last 10 seconds where Guild actually start getting the majority of their frags. They have to get onto the plant now, though. And well, I don't think there's even a possibility of that anymore. Trex might just want to hold on to the gun. If he could take another player with him, that would be great. Duno, of course, tagged incredibly low. And actually, Cloud on the wrapper, I might get a nasty surprise. That's the operator gone. That is costly as hell.
Yeah, that's a huge drop last couple of seconds. For Navi, pulling out all the stops here, operated themselves in play toward a force on the other side. So it looks like the wave won't really come crashing down on them with this last round to play for. I'm expecting, by the looks of things, a little bit of a mid-crunch out of Navi. We've seen Guild a couple of times now try to fight for elbow in the early round, and Navi might finally offer them that opportunity. This time, though, no one's around. And in fact, it's not elbow. It looked to be straight down middle, but they've decided to back off, being tagged up by the KO knife.
Oh, that doesn't last for long. Fair amount of mid-aggression. And again, Guild sat far back. Of course, Safe has already got his tour de force online, so there is a full buy on either side. Leo also have his Hunter's Fury, which, again, for these sort of aggressive site takes, it's going to have a lot of value for just clearing some of those more awkward positions. Fact is, though, gonna have to start rotating back around, waiting and hoping that somebody gets aggressive, but this time Navi patient in their play.
Yeah, not the first time we've seen that face of Navi, that's for sure. Just take a look at this A site setup. You got a Viper wall down to block them, full charge still up, and a snake fight in play, but that's not the highlight somehow. I don't know what that shot was out of Zeddy, but he's been taken down by the fury of the Hunter. The plant coming through, and it's inside a Viper's pit, or at least in moments it will be. This could be huge now for Guild. They've got the site secured and the off angle by Safe secure as well. Easy kill on the Cloud.
And now getting across is going to be somewhat difficult. Cypher Cage will give them the space, but Safe already putting that thought in the back of their minds, can just go rotating back and help with the hold. They could even drop this pit if they wanted to. Well, it's going to get dropped automatically. SSK has somehow found one through, leaving it down to a 2v2 scenario. Again, they're running out of utility to get them in onto this position. Sticking it to half from this point has so many risks about it. And while Safe is going to switch up to the Headhunter to close it. 7-5 in favor of Guild, but a decent resurgence in the end from Navi. This could have been a much more dominant half.
Yeah, I think all in all, they've had themselves a fantastic start, but it stumbles out a little bit towards the end. Like I said, there's more potential there to capitalize on. But for Navi, swapping over now, I don't know. I don't think it's the end of the world, for sure.
No, I think for either side, like obviously, I do think that the way Guild are going to play this is going to be revolving around taking a lot of space. And I think the scary thing will be is if Guild can build up a strong economy. As I said, they've got multiple very competent operator players. So you have to be very careful that you're not just going to give up that amount of control and then you're basically locked out. You have to do something ludicrous and aggressive. Straight away, though, we're going to see just a follow-up of the Tiger. Information garnered, and actually, oh, no, it's not pretty from Trex, but he gets the job done in the end.
The recon over for A site reveals no one, and Guild just goes steaming forward into the cave. They've caught a kill. They've caught themselves an early flank, but they need to hold on to control of this B site. The mid split is denied. Navi coming back, and they're going all the way back. Two players, though, took in their spawn, and even if they catch Trex, do they expect a second? Well, actually, he's gone swinging with them. Flash around. Rust, though, not able to get out. I thought it could have been a trap play, but instead, this was a perfect read by Navi, going back to catch the flank, and now they might have another 3vx fight on their hands. Cole Dementa coming around this fight alone, isolated, and if the timing was right, he could have a flank, but depends whether he decides to go forward or not. They've actually even put a trap wire down behind them.
Yeah, that's been there the entire round, so it's something that he could never really plan for. And they still have to take the time to clear off the cross, but unfortunately, this is somewhat ruined. He could go all the way around, but then you have to jump out the window, which I think is just as subtle. Still, though, a couple of low players. And they do now have that information. There's not a safe or particularly safe plant out there. And especially with this dropping down, it's definitely not as pretty as they'd like. But you know what? Dix comes out with a chance! And he's going to land the final headshot. Navi, I don't know if there was a moment, Mitch, where I believed they were going to win that pistol round, but right at the depths, Dinks brings it home. And I hate to say it, but he's already got more kills in this half than the last.
That he has. Yeah, this was an unexpected turn of events, to say the least. I mean, this guy so low on HP, and both of those kills found. That's a lifeline for Navi. They're right back into things. 7-5 down. As we said, they wanted to get more out of the previous half for sure. It's not the end of the world, but it's disappointing to walk out with just those 5 rounds. And I felt, excuse me, I felt like Guild take that pistol. The momentum's definitely in their favor as the better team, essentially. But Navi, they found it. They've got that lifeline in, and now's the time to pull it all the way through. Russ, this is a risky little push, but it might just pay off. No, they're checking it. He even played anti-flash, but they were so ready.
Well, might be able to catch out Trex. It seems like the angle's not working out for them, but hey, he ends up getting the timing just right. A chance for safe is so good with his headhunter. But eventually will fall, still making this one costly, and they have to be wary of the flank. In fact, both players are going to look to come from the same direction. Still, though, you could see from the plant position, they are more than aware of this now. Even deep control being spotted by SSK.
Yeah, there should be no way in. Coldamenta, maybe with some timing. All right. Kills found, but it's not quite clean. 1 versus 2. Snake bites through. Oh, that's actually blocked off the side. They're on both now. And indeed canceled out the drone. That's huge. Coldamenta sneaking around. They're not going to take double damage anymore, though. That fight goes their way easily. 7-7. I don't think it's as convincing as they would have liked, that's for sure. But
they
have at least got the round.
Yeah, I wonder whether or not they'll actually just buy into this round now. Because you've still got a couple of Bulldogs. The rest of the players can afford rifles, and you can just, rather than playing into a bonus round here, you could just go for the full investment and try and break Guild straight off the bat. And honestly, I think it's the better decision, because you're basically just going to give them a round and give them orbs, rather than just buying here and having a chance to do damage anyway. Also, much higher potential that going into the next round, if it's an eco, you might have an ult of your own.
Oh, now quite a bunch of steps out of Navi. They are quickly looking to take this site. Flash out of the smoke. Oh my god! That's one of the paciest takes we've seen on Breeze. And it's out of Navi. Who would have thought? That has yielded them so much value. The sheer chaos. Guild had nothing to say about that round. No chance to set up duels. I'm gobsmacked that we have just seen that round out of Navi, Tom.
Yeah, I remember watching their Haven, and that was probably one of the most enjoyable matches I've ever watched from Navi, where they were playing Cloud on Neon, just because it was so fast-paced, and they had such cool, like, little timings and executions. Like, the timing on that push was flawless. You had the door open, and as the players tried to back away, the other players are already out of main, and that's one of the main weaknesses of pushes like that, is if it's disjointed in any way, you have the 2 players out the door, and then the main follow up, but if they're already dead, the other players can just turn around. If you get it bang on, it doesn't matter what the players at door do. The other people will almost definitely get the trade. And yeah, fantastic round out from Navi. I will say, it's almost like, you know when you see teams like, oh, let's condition them for like 4 or 5 rounds. Like I remember in one of Lothar's clips talking about Yor. It's like you condition players and then you do the next thing so that, or you do the thing that you've been baiting them into the entire round with the fakes, and you actually stick it the next time. I feel like Navi do that for a year. Like, we'll just play slow every game for a year, and then that one round, no one will see it coming.
They did it all for that round. Is that what you're saying, Tom?
Yeah, when they're already out of the tournament.
These last few years of slow play. And this is what it's all come down to.
And what was it? Like 20 years of slow play in Counter-Strike as well. It all was
here
for this.
It is. That round right there. We've just witnessed the culmination.
And never again.
Now Navi as an org will just retire. They'll say, all right, our job is done. Time to look onto some newer, bigger projects. Well, an 8-7 power-up round that's in it. A lot of value for Guild. See what they can get done. A 1 kill already. Cold Amanda goes down, left with the 1 rifle for safe. And he's on the flank. Very late coming through. He'll get to window without being detected at least, but they're very aware of this. You can see that. I think that's literally just what Zeddy is doing. He was staring at the window. Moved off now, though.
Yeah, again, it's a really tough way to find a kill into this, because if you look at every single angle that's currently being held by Navi, no one's in an open spot to anything. Like, you have to walk into the angle yourself as a Guild player before you get any space. And even though the flash was pretty good, you've then got Dino able to trade it, and the rest of the players can now just look back out of the side. Safe's going to try and make this costly. But Dino, can he get the ace? He can. Okay. Big round from him. In fact, he's having a fantastic day. I think we're seeing more and more evidence as to why I really want this Navi roster to actually stick together. Because it's like, as said, I think they were, out of all the teams, they played the most Valorant. They had, I think, the closest amount of rounds. I think the difference between, at least before today, the difference between them being even though they were 1 and 3, was 7 rounds. Like, that's ridiculous. You've only won 1 of your series and you've lost 3 of them, and you're only 7 rounds between it evening up. So they were always very, very close victories. I think give them another season and they're competing for playoffs at a minimum.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there. I think Navi have looked fantastic. Seem like Focus, the same boat. Big starting to come into Focus as well. And it's been really good to see these teams showing their potential. Navi right here and now. Some serious potential.
Oh, the flank.
It's going all the way through. Yep. The acer of the previous round dealt with. They had so many angles to fight in on, but that little late flank out of Cloud on mid ruined their day. Zeddy with another big round. Double digits for Navi. Tom, every game these guys have played, it's gone to 3 maps. It's been long. It's been an extended series. Well, it's a strange world to imagine their first 2-0. It could be against Guild, but in all reality, we know why. We had our suspicions coming into today that the feng shui could be disturbed. But I don't even know that this is something I'll walk out of and go, well, you know, Guild just threw it. You know, they didn't really care, so it is what it is. I'm still looking at this as a big win for Navi from what we've seen so far. Like, Dino's been unreal all series long.
Yeah, it could be an aspect of maybe Navi realizing in the future that when the pressure's off a little bit more, they're going to be able to perform to a higher level. Because I think Dino's been very good on a support level. But individually, this is by far the best performance. And I think that's something that has to be considered, that even beating Guild on an individual level is very good. Trex, I don't know how he's managed this. Dinks has run into B and he goes, guys, there's absolutely no one here. I've just walked into the B site. Quick, rotate, rotate. And then Trex was behind him. And now the whole plan is completely out the window. In fact, the same thing's probably... Cloud, guys, I'm on A. There's no one here. And, well, we'll see. I think he might get shot in the face in a second. And then, I don't know. Hey, SSK, can you start walking into B again? I want to make the same joke for a 3rd time.
Oh,
no. Oh, no.
Oh, no. He is gone. He is dealt with.
Guys, A's not clear. I lied.
They've gotten here a little bit late, very late. 1 player detected up close. He's been spotted fully now. Trex tagging him up. Snakebite down. Dino still dancing around, keeping the control. Snakebite, though, is huge. Sorry, not Snake. The Snakebite had disappeared. And so that actually isn't going to take down those players. SSK dropped, so is Dino, and Zeddy doesn't last too much longer either. Nice and clean on the way back through for Guild. They get themselves an 8th.
This, in my mind, is a round where I think you needed to read your opponent's economy a little better. Like, you're up against mostly pistols. Okay, there's a few powerful ultimates online, but the thing you want to be doing if you're Navi is trading. And instead, you had 1 player solo push into B, then 1 player solo push into A. You give them both individual duels. In this scenario, unfortunately, both those players lose. And now you're screwed because you have to now go back to basically what is the start of the round, but instead it's a 3v5 and you've given them guns.
Standing ahead.
Oh, the reveal. It could have been huge for Safe, but he's not able to land an angle. Not in time. Around the corner he goes. Very aggressive position, but he's got his TP to bring him right back to the stairs. He's going to be sticking around here till he gets poked, till he gets an opportunity.
I think the drone's just to attempt to try and give him information of which side he could be looking at, because even if you look on the map right now, he's still constantly just going left to right to left to right, and it's going to have its risks about it just because, well, if the other angle is peaked, he can't see. The timing, it's actually Dinks. That's so cursed. It was like being jiggled by Dino, and Dinks is the one that takes the bullet instead. An early pick for Guild, an important one at that. Safe's out of there almost instantly, but they're starting to push and probe into the B side once again. It does seem like Navi are really attempting this default, and the pit is going to give them access potentially to the site, but Trex is just going to stand within it. He's going to instantly tell his teammates, okay, they're not here. This is a ruse, and I think the 0 points just caught both.
But Russ has gone down. A big kill for Navi. They've got the plant now to work with, and Safe almost went down. He's just about managed to avoid that shot. Gonna hold on that little bit longer and even find Dino being pressured from all angles, so he could not survive. The shorty to take him down and put a 3v2 on the card. Zeddy doing his work to make that happen, but on his way back down mid, he's caught Trex as well. Oh, what a disaster. And Leo can't land a shot. 11-8. Navi just 2 away from taking this 2-0.
There's certain decisions that SSK makes. I feel like a battle between him and Twiston needs to just happen more often, because it's just like, what's the most insane choice of things to do that you can be like, how about jumping at someone with a shorty while you have an operator? Yeah, that's a good start. How about dashing straight into the open just so that he can't shoot you over a pixel headshot spot and still winning the duel? Cool. All right, I'll take it.
I mean, this Navi team, they came in, they put on a pretty damn good face up against Team Liquid, but this is something else. Trading it out, finding themselves 4v4 early. Favorite of the attack side on that. The timing here, crucial. SSK was watching it, but he's gone up and towards the top of the rope. Russ catching the kill for free, grabbing the map control, and allowing the stack to come into play over towards B. But look, the Viper's Pit just went down. Coldamenta now wishing he was still that little bit closer, that he still had that ult up. As Cold is going to be next to impossible with a Sheriff. He needs to just give it up.
Yeah, he's the only person that doesn't really have anything to play with in this round, so just going to wait for the team. You can see an attempt to try and be that little bit more aggressive to delay. They can't really peek out again. It's the same sort of crossfires that have to be held. Dinks' position is going to be known. Dino's desperately trying to find something through the edge of the smoke. He's actually going into the cage. Okay, Russ will shut it down before it gets too dangerous. Dinks as well is currently standing in a fragment, so he's going to get tagged all the way to 33, and well, Headhunter does more than that.
Clean closeout by Guild. 9 on the board. Their defense is starting to look that little bit better. Starting to connect their rounds. Get a little bit more convincingly, even in that scenario. And, you know, I like the idea as well, just the patience to fall back and not continue to hold that site. Sometimes you have to realize it's better to play that retake, use the numbers. Even giving up the Viper's Pit in the first place was a surprising decision, but just a Sheriff. It's something I can definitely get behind.
I love how, like, Guild's Twitter is currently being run by like the mega zoomer of just like everything they tweet. I'm just like, what is this?
What have they done now?
I'm looking at Pepe praying right now after what is currently either that or it's being run by Lauren. One of the two. She's probably watching the game anyway, so maybe they put her to work. But the Pepes are out, that's for sure.
Navi seem to want to repeat some of the success they had earlier on. Moving up through the tube, we saw the combination of the Jet alongside that Sky Flash to get them out here earlier. This time, though, it's straight through, moving into the spawn. The flash up by Russ. I'm going to try to actually fight up on top, just spotting for the information, confirming there's a player there. Here comes the same old strat, flash out. It's good. Leo again caught by it. He's taking so much damage, and the site is overrun. But there's more players from Guild here than there were last time around. Even with that, they're not able to really put up any resistance by the looks of it.
Yeah, really struggling. I love the cloudburst flash play. It just makes it so impossible for you to actually do anything about it, because either you have to look away completely, and by that point SSK is in your face, or, well, you get a little bit stuck. Cloud, though, bit overzealous. Given Cold Mentor away back in. SSK only 5 bullets left in the clip, but playing close range, it doesn't matter. Save so good with that headhunter, almost using it as a shotgun. They need to clear out Zeddy. Oh, he's seen the barrel, and it's actually going to be Cold Mentor to kill Dinks. I don't know how he gets that kill instead. And now they could just get on the defusal. Steps being hurt, but Cold Mentor will end up with a 3K. It looked like a done deal for Navi, but Guild are going to break it back. Double digits secured. Yeah, that round was certainly feeling like it was Navi's through and through. To be honest, after a loss like that, you might even see a pause come through soon. This team has got to be upset. A couple of mistakes, a couple of overextensions. You see these fights go down like that was Eddie's kill. And after such an impressive set of rounds out of this guy, you don't want to see the whiffs like that when it means the most. That's actually Guild. Though. Yeah, I don't really blame them. Like they've managed to get themselves back into a winning position. They have at least the Tour de Force, but it's probably not going to be used. Null Command's the only ult I can see actually being utilized in this round. And on the other side of things, they've got basically everything. Like Seeker's only 2 away. Viper's Pit for Afterplant could clear the site as well with a Hunter's Fury. We always know how powerful those knives can be, and yeah, Neural Theft, that one too. But this is going to be a tough round for Guild. If they lose this one, they're fighting for OT. Money would still be okay, but there might be a few pieces missing here and there. I guess the Tour de Force would be utilized to make sure that's not a problem, but you don't want to allow your opponents to get to match and, more importantly, series point. And that's exactly it. You can't let them have that much runway to play with. And these rounds, 3 out of the last 4 going to Guild. They've looked good. They've looked impressive thus far. Another change. Mid-aggression right away. Trex is bringing it down and around the right side. They're not ready for it. Not ready in the slightest. Trex gets the double, and they'll try to recover with a quick A strategy. They want the plan. They want to at least get something to the players that they've lost, but they can't even get the drone out. He grabs the tag quickly, and then they've got to rush in for the plant. Time is starting to run low as Guild close in that distance. This net being cast. Look at how many players are here. A firing squad set up. The Viper's Pit might be able to help them out with that. If they can get rid of Russ, they have a chance. But even if he gets a kill her, I think this is done and nobody's watching in that direction. It might even be a couple. First one goes his way, and now he can even just remove their utility. This is an even bigger problem, especially with that Viper's Pit going down. Okay, SSK has dealt with him, but now the rest of the team. That was so slick from Trex, getting up onto the box after the kill, and he's even going to finish alongside Leo. Wonderful round from Trex. They'll bring back their other teammate, and it means nobody lost for Guild. I love the idea, man. Just change the pace completely. They're running it down mid like that, taking the swing on right side, supported by your player of KO in the double doors. So you've got so much utility there that can recover a lot of these fights. I mean, that was just fantastic. And then this ultimate as well stops them from even thinking about having a Hunter's Fury post plan setup. There was absolutely no chance. And it's all down to Trex on that one. Gorgeous play from the get-go. They're tied up, and Guild
Get out of my way.
Now make it a reality where we could see Haven in this series. Yeah, and I'd be excited to see what comp Navi would actually run there. Because as I said, I really love their fast-paced comp. Oh dear. Oh dear. Solo play, obviously the rest isolated by the utility that was thrown down. Okay, Leo. Straight through as well. After the snake bites thrown in just to make sure that nobody could follow up on the push from SSK. And this round is looking bleak, especially with some of the map control. You can see already taking some presence down in towards Tube. You've already got a deep position in from Russ as well.
I have lost almost everything. The only thing that they actually don't realize is open is going to be that A side, but that's because the cross is being watched at the same time. Was being watched.
Was being, exactly. But like the one kill for Navi. It's not going to save the day. Not yet, especially when they're moving to B. Still 2 players here, and it's going to be Leo and Cold Amenta. Getting onto this B side past Cold, not going to be easy. No snake bites left to play with, at least.
Scanning ahead. 30 seconds left.
Hunter's Fury committed. There's no point holding on to it till the end of the game, but it's not found any targets. Cold Amenta sneaking away. He'll be dropped, traded out immediately. And that is exactly what Guild needed to do. Just make sure that nothing's given away for free. No space is garnered for Navi, and now planting this seems to be impossible. Dino has to take out both of these players and safe.
See him over the top.
Wall banged him. I don't know if he saw him over the top. He might have.
Match point.
Because he hit him with the op and then the headhunter. So if not, he's cheating. But either way, Navi are now going to take themselves another timeout. Obviously, the last one taken when they're in the lead, and yeah, things have. I wanted to say slip, but I feel like Guild have just started playing a lot better. Like they've been taking a lot more map control away. They haven't been allowing Navi with the same sort of space to set up those executions they want to go for. And ultimately, I just think some of the players have started performing a little better. Like the round that came out from Trex, a big step up from him. Safe just denying so much space around middle. They have to be very wary of that. And again, I spoke about the operator at the beginning of the game. It's always going to be something that can take control. Now, considering it's the last round of the half, I would almost want to just see him drop it over. Like drop one op to Trex. Have it as just an early round thing. Like, okay, we can have 2 of them. He also has a Blade Storm as well. They could keep a spare rifle somewhere. And then just play that tour de force. And he could even buy another operator if he wanted another one. They have so much spare cash that they can afford to just do something stupidly audacious in this round.
I almost wonder, on the side of Cloud, you start out this round, got those Seekers to play with, almost certainly getting deployed. It's a perfect round to kind of throw in a little bit of a fake, grab that slower info play round, see what their approach is. Flash on A early, sees absolutely no one because the aggression's coming in through mid. Trex again finding a pick there, and it's an updraft Blade Storm to do it this time. Real spanner in the works for Navi for sure.
Especially probably their best player of the day so far falling is not the man you want to be losing. Now, they do have Seekers available to try and give them some information, but this time that same level of control hasn't really been given up. A couple of players within B, one around the doors to split into A if needed. And again, Navi just trying to push and probe around the map, but ultimately they found absolutely nothing for it. No info to really play off of, and in fact, it almost seems like the players are starting to rotate back towards the A site from Guild, so a lot of info to be had.
Certainly a ton in play for Guild. They know what's happening here. But do they know about the aggressive yellow push? Navi have tried this a couple of times. It's worked for them in the past. This time, Trex is putting up one hell of a fight. That's a 4th kill on the Blade Storm to close that one out. What an absolutely incredible last couple of rounds this was for Trex. I mean, it's not that he was poor during this game, but he just reached an entirely new form coming into the last 10, 15 minutes. I don't know what happened.
Well, no, I would say it was a bit of a quieter game from him up until that point. I think he must have been at like 10, 11 kills and probably ended around the 20 mark. So, yeah, just basically closing out the game for his side. And he actually ended up as their top performer, which I think if you looked at consistently over the map, that probably wouldn't be the case. But I think they're going to take it all day long. Have to feel a little bit bad for Dino and Zeddy, but ultimately it's just the way the game goes. And we're going to head into Haven. I'll be honest, Mitch, I'm just praying for the Neon comp. I really want to see that Neon comp out of Navi. It's probably been one of my favorite matches to watch over the entirety of the season was them doing that. So, please.
Well, things are about to get interesting. We could have a Neon on the horizon. Haven coming up in just a couple of minutes. Before that, though, it's time to throw things to a break.
Dare to challenge yourself.
Red Bull gives you wings.
I'ma raise the trophy up once again. You did all you could, but you gon' have to try again next year. All I do is win. I'ma raise the trophy up once again. You did all you could, but you gon' have to try again next year. All I do is win. I'ma raise the trophy up once again. You did all you could, but you gon' have to try again next year.
Oh yeah, I've been shooting in the gym, getting it, oh yeah. Watch me how I ball, watch the Rangers fall, yeah. I've been on my grind, team been winning, oh yeah. They hate it when I shine, I'm like, give me mine, yeah. I see you wanna win on my rings, but you don't wanna win on my team, yeah. I see they wanna say the same thing, but we don't really know what you mean, yeah. I'm royal with the crown, been top shelf, that's a king, yeah. Y'all fill a cup with the lean, but I'ma fill it up with the whole up. I'm coming for anyone thinking I'm not gonna carry my word. If they don't believe that I carry this cannon that's more than my name, then that is absurd. We are not on the same level, I eat you like cancer. You just a germ, all authentic when I twist up. Getting burned like a perm, yeah.
All I do is win. I'ma raise the trophy up once again. You did all you could, but you gon' have to try again next year. All I do is win. I'ma raise the trophy up once again. You did all you could, but you gon' have to try again next year. Started off slinging dope, tryna buy a Benz. Lord knows I knew better, but I tried again. Move that coca, that mocha, that smoker. I spent off the porch with a bag and a toaster. I put out a check, I got a check. On to the next, whoa, whoa, she know I lit. I know she sick, she ain't get a chip. After I did, I said the kid. One down and I took. Never come when I spend. Every day I'll be on some shoes, lace on trip. Yeah, they gon' have to try again next year. Cause it's my time to shine, talking last year. All I do is win. I'ma raise the trophy up once again. You did all you could, but you gon' have to try again next year. All I do is win. I'ma raise the trophy up once again. You did all you could, but you gon' have to try again next year.
Dare to challenge yourself. Who's next?
Welcome back. Well, who saw that coming? This one is going all the way. Navi versus Guild will be a 3-map series. It's almost like some of these analysts know what they're talking about. We got Lothar and Kakuka here on the desk. Another close map, Kakuka, and you are not too surprised.
I'm not too surprised that we were in the green room and when Navi were winning, they reached the 11th round. What did I tell you?
You told me that Navi were going to go on to lose and Guild were going to secure it and we're going to go to a third map.
Yeah, it's exactly what we expected, but maybe it's the fashion that we always see coming in from Navi. I love the adaptation that we saw from Guild on that second half, especially when they give Trex the call of, why don't you just go and hunt for that first kill? Why don't we start with that upper hand, especially since they're going so fast, since they play in so little like Navi, and the set strats, you know, all have an end.
Yeah, and in general, I would say the game was pretty close from both sides. The rounds that were won at the beginning, in the first half, shouldn't have been won by either of those teams. You know, like the low buys that were winning that are being converted made no sense. There was a lot of first deaths, actually on key players being done as well. Dinks died 5 times on the Cypher. Then we have seen Russ first deaths as well, 5 first deaths as well on the KO. There was a lot of 5v4s that were not converted when it comes to Navi. Actually, only 3 out of 5 5v4s were converted. So there's a little bit of, let's say, lack of planning when there's already like something unexpected happening, because it seems like sometimes Navi just get this first kill. It's like, oh, okay, now what?
Yeah, to me also, especially if we take a look at what Gil do in the attack, it looked a little bit like a B simulator. We saw so many rounds that they were just going on for the same execute, and you know, it worked for a little bit on the side of Navi, as I was mentioning. The set strats, they all have an end. You were mentioning, you're talking about Russ. I think that he's having a bad day. I think that last week he was sort of on the same mood, and it's not only the fact that he's dying himself, also I think that 2 rounds before the game was done, on a 5v3 situation, he decided to push. I don't know, some of the decisions that Guild are making are a little bit questionable.
Do Navi just struggle with the clutch ability when it gets to the closing moments of a map? What is it about them that they can't just get it done?
The problem is that they become too easy to read. For example, they were pacing everything up, right? And instead of just freezing it and just going for that slow play again, give it a little bit of a mix, they were behaving the same way against the Guild that had already figured out how to stop that from happening.
You know, what's funny is that even though they swapped it out, it looked good when they swapped the tempo.
Yeah.
Mitch was actually talking about it a lot. I was like, yeah, it's fun, but it doesn't work right now. It should have been effective, but still, like, Navi doesn't have the grasp on how to do it effectively.
Speaking of being effective, Trex for Guild did a good job.
Yeah, exactly. To me, it's especially on the defense. We were saying that he has 7 first kills, but 6 of them were on the defense. And it's because they didn't require his power of opening more than creating space on the attack. But for the defense, when Navi was being extra aggressive, when they were going for that mid control that was sometimes too much for Gil to deal with, for Safe to deal with, it was Trex who was on the hunt on mid from elbow. It didn't matter. He was going to go for it, has his dash activated and ready to get out.
Yeah, he had 7 first bloods, actually.
Yes, and earlier in Lothar's lab, which is where you were, and you're going to go there right now, you touched on a topic that we can kind of revisit here now, right?
Yes, that is correct. If you guys were watching the pre-show, we were talking about how Ascent played Breeze with Fade, and the push through double dose was working or not working with the Fade Hunt being used over the holes. Now, let's jump into this clip because I mentioned when I was talking about Ascent that you could do this with a Sova double bounce arrow instead because it allows you to be more effective, right? And efficient when it comes to movement. And look what Navi is actually doing. It's a very similar, it's actually the same setup on the double dose because you can see this Viper wall that is being put on mid and allow you to do a little bit of pressure towards holes, and players are like trying to go towards double dose at the same time, and this arrow is being used on the spot here on the caves. And now look at the small camera on the right, it goes with a double bounce on the top of this I don't know how to call it, like tent or whatever, right? So it just goes and lands in this spot, which allows to get a little bit of space on A side. And they used it many rounds, actually. This is another one when you can see it, having a very effective actually push, make a very effective push with the players going through holes. So they go through holes on the mini-map, like as you can see here, open up the doors, and this is where this recon arrow is now effective and it actually reveals Russ here on site, because it's so tough to play around this when you know, when your opponents exactly know when to peek when the recon arrow is active, and it's active for a bit longer, I would say, because it's like recurring effect 3 times than the Haunt, which is an instant hit scan, and then it's probably getting destroyed.
So he definitely doesn't want to see the Fade again.
I mean, no, don't get me wrong. Fade and Sova together on Breeze, almost unstoppable. It's so hard to deal with both of those pieces of utility being used at the same time.
All right, well, we've picked apart map 2. Now we look ahead to our 3rd and final map of this series, which is, of course, Haven. Now, earlier on, Lothar referred to it as Guild's playground.
Yes.
And we can absolutely all agree that Navi really didn't want to end up here.
I mean, I think that it could be a good possibility to bring back that composition where they played with the Neon rather than with the Raze. I think that Cloud was brilliant and then, but Lothar is completely right. For Guild, the 2 results that they've had on this stage were both 13-6. The problem is that they were extremely dominant on the attack on one and then extremely dominant on the defense on the other. So there's not a lot of weaknesses. Maybe we're going to see something new, maybe Safe moving away from the Killjoy, but why would you change something that is already working for you?
I mean, Killjoy on this map is very effective. Has a lot of setups as well. We have seen it in the past. Like, you play for the contact with the turret. Breach also has insane synergy with that because you can use the utility blindly, right? Because you know there's a contact on the turret and you use your Rolling Thunder and so on. And Guild, on week 1, when they played on Haven, I was really impressed with the amount of executes, very orchestrated, like literally like down to the second, orchestrated between the players and being very effective at the utility at the same time on attack. So I hope we can see it to the same degree today.
It was against Meg, though. It was the
Week
first time
one,
that
was impressive, right?
Yeah. It was very impressive because we were surprised that Meg actually wanted to play the map and actually had like a composition and everything ready. And we were like, oh my god! But maybe against Guild wasn't the best of the options to do it against.
Are you expecting another high round map here, Luther?
It's Navi, it's Guild, it's gonna be long, it's gonna take time unless Navi goes, as Kakuka said, again for a Neon comp because they swapped it out. But maybe they go for the Neon comp and then do the reversal and be like, nah, this time we're taking it back and we're waiting 1 minute and 35 seconds before we actually go on the site.
The thing is also that Guild did a great job preparing for example, Meg. We were talking about that first week on Ascent. They knew exactly what they were going to do. If Navi doesn't swap things around, even if they bring back the Neon, something has to change. Also, another problem is that Guild is going to be starting on the defense, and it was actually on that defense where the Neon was so surprising because of all the microplays that they had.
We've spoken about how it's got to be frustrating for Navi and Navi fans that they get into positions where they could potentially close out a series. We said before, every single one of them so far in this group stage has gone to 3 maps. What do you think it would do for morale if they managed to get the job done here against Guild?
I mean, only positives, right? I guess.
Yeah. I think the weight is more on Guild because people expect a different performance from them. It would be really sweet, don't get me wrong, for Navi to secure this one because it would give them a little bit more leverage to work with on the side of getting those points for VCT and ending up in a better position. But I still think that this is going to go for Guild. I would like to see a dominant performance because that is the Guild that I want to see in playoffs.
I mean, in general, it's like Guild, I think, got hurt a little bit by losing Icebox, hurt, but I mean, like, ego got hurt. That they weren't managed to win the first map and just close it 2-0 even.
It's going to be a race.
Here we go.
Oh, it's a race.
It's going to be a race.
I'm disappointed. I would love to see that Neon comp again. But hey, at least we have the Fade race combo, which is so effective, right? It's so scary. Yeah, it's
everything.
It's actually really scary when you face the Fade race combo because it can kill players outright. Aftershock comes in as the supplement to that because if someone is seized and Aftershocked, well, that basically is dead, right? And on the side of Guild, Killjoy and Breach combo right here.
Yeah, exactly. No changes on the side of both squads. It's kind of what we expected. Maybe wanted to see that Neon. We know that SSK is going to be hunting for that first kill. We were talking about all the entries that he had. Most of them were on Haven. So we expect to see him going for that first kill and maybe that 3 other combo to actually perform and execute.
All right, well, it's the final map. It's Navi versus Guild. We are closing this out on Haven. Mitch and Tom, please see this series through.
No joke?
No joke.
Well, Tom, it's time to dive on in and really get the action started, man. I cannot wait to see Haven. I'm expecting some incredibly fast and innovative rounds. Based on what we've seen so far, I know this is going to be a banger.
Yeah, fast and innovative. That's what I would definitely think of when I think of the 2 teams within the summer. No, I'm a little bit disappointed here. Yeah, I wanted a little bit of well, I am here, but I wanted a little bit of Neon, but realistically it didn't get to be brought in. So I'm a little bit sad with that one. The combinations definitely do work a little bit better alongside the Fade with Cloud now moving on to the Raze. But I think the focal point is going to have to be SSK. I think in the last match they played on this map, he was phenomenal. Some ridiculous clutches that were able to actually bring them home quite a few rounds. Didn't manage to close out the game, which seems to be the story of Navi, but what did he finish? He finished 21-18, but he was 8-2 in opening duels, and they still didn't win the map. So there needs to be a monster performance here.
And here's the thing, we've seen the 2 faces of SSK so far. We've seen him get shut down in early duels, and we've seen him dominate as well. So we want to see that second face of SSK show up here and now. If Navi are going to have a chance to take in this one. Certainly a disappointing loss for them on the previous map. They were so close, they had it within their grasp. And now moving on to Guild, I mean, Guild's scariest map, I think, from my perspective, at least the games that we've seen of these guys on Haven, they have been untouchable.
Yeah, I'd probably say right now they're the best team on this map. I think they're really impressive on it. I think that they do a lot of research into the teams that they're coming up against. But again, we're still waiting to see them in the playoffs face off against the likes of an FPX or something like that. And obviously, I think one of the games they played versus Mech, who historically don't play this map. So it's always going to be those sort of caveats, especially when you're in Group B, and the other group we've called the Group of Death. But I'd still favor them quite heavily going into this one.
Trex has made the right call just in time, backing off here as the players come on through, but he still gets caught. The stun a little late. They're going to be now looking to move back towards this A site. Navi, a good chance to walk just right into it, wide open. There's an alarm bot here to at least grab the information, but I doubt Safe's really going to be able to do anything about this. Maybe he buys them an extra couple seconds with the nano swarm. But even then, they're just going to move the position and go for the plant a little bit wider out. Look at this flank from SSK, though. He gets through for one. He's going to try to get out of here, but under a lot of pressure now, sneaking back into B and really destroying any chance of a quick retake for Guild.
Yeah, they have to kill it before they can do anything else, and there you go. Coldamenta's going to clear that backline, but it's given all the rest of the team a chance. Leo, well, he's pre-fired the corner. Aftershock definitely coming through a little late, but it will at least isolate some of those players out. Safe trying to clear some of the angles a little bit closer, and he has done just that. Gives his teammates a good opportunity to swing. Somehow, this retake started to look very good for Guild. It's left all onto Dinks J. His pistol shrunk into his hand, but luckily it still fires off bullets. The real question, though, is going to be the time, but I think they've got it.
Just about. The round for Guild secured. I mean, this was a fantastic start for Navi. They get onto the A site. They get a player up behind who's able to just annihilate them. And SSK getting that kill, being the thorn in the side. I felt like he went down a little bit quick there, and you got to give props to Coldamenta. Again, this guy's had a lights out series so far. He's been really impressive. This is a glitch recently. Sometimes you can aftershock with your weapon. It looks cool, honestly. I wish that was a feature.
I prefer Tiny Knife. Like, Tiny Knife is still my favorite of all of the bugs that don't really affect the game. But yeah, obviously, if there's bugs that do, I am not a fan.
Oh, couple players spotted out here on C long, but Guild are happy to just give up that orb. It's not really a fight they want to take versus, even, to be honest, even 4 classics on that range still shred you.
Also not really a reason to do it either. Just patient play, of course. Navi just hoping that somebody will make a mistake on the other side. And ultimately, you don't really expect much from it. Shock Dart actually does a hell of a lot of damage. SSK down to just 25, and well, I feel like the pistol's almost being used as bait here, just to try and pull people into Leo's Bulldog, but ultimately he doesn't get anything either. And back to the default we go.
Who could have guessed this round would be nice and slow out of Navi, even with minimal investment? I know, Tom. I know.
It's like they teased us with it. They teased us with it to almost just be like, we can actually win doing this, but we're just never going to do it again.
Just not gonna. Here comes the haunt.
30 seconds left.
Not revealing anything though. Stun and nade going through. Still looking for this plant. They're going to look to deny that on the other side. Down with one right away. Trades. I mean, they're happy enough with that on Navi. At least getting the spike in. 1 or 2 more kills here. What it's all about.
Yeah, this is the problem. They can't tell whether or not somebody's actually on the defuse. It's incredibly low. Safe, who's managed to at least get it halfway. And while eventually Leo and Safe will be there to close out the round. Still, though, a couple of kills a plant, removing some shields as well. It's not an awful round for Navi, but ultimately, it's still 2-0 Guild.
Yeah, I mean, Safe survived with 5 HP, a sliver of health that brought him into the next round. If he goes down, that's very scary indeed, because this is the power-up round for Navi. They've got all the rifles in hand to work with, so Guild are going to need everything they've got, everything they can get. You can see a big investment on Trex. Operator in play, and that's got to be a difference maker. And the reason for this, I mean, normally you'd say because he's close to ult, only got 2 orbs. Trex has got to get hella value out of this scope.
Yeah, I think this is it's almost like the old CS style is we've got like a kind of sucky buy. Let's just throw an op in there and see if that's enough to win us the round. And in a lot of cases, if you have a star player like Trex, it really can be. The other thing as well is just a surprise factor. Like, your opponents aren't necessarily going to be thinking, okay, we need to be wary of an operator in this sort of round. And you can see by the way that they're actually using their utility, like clearing out some of these closer range angles, because that's where a shotgun could be. That's where the SMGs could be. But an operator, no. And that allows for these much more gamble plays on the other side of the map. And ultimately for Trex, they go in his direction. He tries to kill everyone. They don't, I would assume, unless there's a lot of damage he's going to save.
Oh, nice bait for Coldamenta. The stun, though, has caught him. That's unfortunate. He stepped out a little bit wide there. Not able to follow up on his paranoia. Trying to fade back on the back of his smoke. And he's made it out. Second smoke as well. Going to make it almost impossible for them to breach out onto the site. And he's still shrouded, stepping away. Getting back to his teammates, regrouping. And look at the damage that's being caused on the back of that. 2 players down. Dinks J practically a walking dead man. And Cloud, well, he's not far behind. 70 HP, halfway to being a corpse. This is a solid round out of Guild, leaving Navi to save. They've got no chance of getting into a site.
Yeah, they've just got to almost sit back and just take the hit. It's definitely not the start they were looking for. It's very unusual. I was going to say to see a flawless round 3, but I guess for Russ, it doesn't really make that much of an issue. Like, he's just going to be able to buy back in with a rifle in the next round anyway, and they're stacked for cash.
It's a tough blow. You know, losing out on that 3rd round, never a pretty look for any team. They're coming in at least now with rifles. In the back of the save, they can be happy enough that they've traded it out for a second chance, essentially. They found the kill. All right, shutting down SSK. No response from Navi. They seem a little bit stunned by that early peak. Now left into a quick B take. And they've got the control, but look how quickly Guild want to fight right back into it.
Yeah, but still, though, a lot of the trades have actually gone relatively well for Navi. They can already fall all the way back and take themselves the C site. After plant looking incredibly likely. Leo with a kill, he could basically win them the round with the Hunter's Fury, but unfortunately, there's not really any other way. The spam's doing a lot of damage, however, Cloud is going to be the one to find the kill.
And they're stalled out. They're in a tough spot. These players tucked in. Navi got even a nade to play with on the back of a stun. To be honest, that's a pretty devastating spot when you've got to get on that spike. There's the stun coming through. The nade's already up and over. It's going to take a moment, but and down rain the little nades, and those paint shells are certainly causing some trouble keeping Guild off that spike, buying that extra bit of time. And well, they're not even holding for the closer angle, and instead they were still worried about someone being in the back corner. That was clean as can be.
Yeah, nice couple of kills coming out of Cloud. They are going to be able to get themselves the first round on the board. Of course, as said, the finances are utterly stacked right now, so I don't really think it's going to be too much of an issue. Ultimate starting to come online for both sides. You got the showstopper for Cloud, which can definitely have its impact, but they're still in a spot in the next round where financially, if they lose this one, they're in a little bit of trouble. And I'm still waiting for SSK to come online. The only kill he's got so far is that lurk play. Other than that, absolutely nothing.
Trax is waiting with this operator. He's been switching around a little bit. You can see Navi's hesitance to take any sort of wider peeks. Everything comes down to a quick jump peek. And I think has its value. For Guild, it's just information. These guys aren't really willing to sneak up all that often. And eventually, they're going to have to, right? You got to try to take some of these corners a little bit more stealthily. There's the noise again from Cloud, letting them know, okay, I'm clearing this out. I'm making sure you're not here. But Trex is not holding that corner. He's holding the walk up. This is just such a passive setup. You rarely ever see it. And late on, he'll peek out. And that timing has just completely caught Navi off. It's so hard to get a read on how Guild are playing with these cloak and dagger tactics.
Careful.
35 seconds now to try and make some space into the site. Leo, with his ult online, could even just go to try and deny the
30
plant.
seconds left.
It depends what they're hoping for here. Straight away, he's going to make sure that there's not really any space. He even gets the tag onto Zeddy as well. That could have been a real issue.
Shadows traveling.
Instead, he'll hold on to his ground, even still favoring Guild into this after plant scenario. But they're having to wait out some of this utility, using the aftershock to clear the close angle. I don't know how Trex has managed to just wander straight into the site, and while Zeddy seems stuck between what he's doing, like the decision making a little off. Luckily, his teammates are still fighting tooth and nail. Dinks managing to find one, still lurking, hiding within this smoke, but it's not pretty on the spray. SSK now down 1 versus 2, and Coldamenta will be there to close it out in the end. It looked like Navi somehow were going to cling on to that round, even with a couple of slip-ups in the mix, but Guild fight back again.
This is starting to look like the Guild that I was afraid of seeing today. The Guild that we've seen all season long, and on Haven, they have just been monsters. Now, it's early days still, but it's not a good tidings for Navi if this keeps up. They're left to an eco now, and Guild have got more than enough to buy this one comfortably. For Navi, I'm almost thinking like you've got a tour de force here, 3.2k on SSK. I think you tour de force play op next round, right? So there's still a good chance of damage here.
You want to play?
If he wasn't going to use it, he'd buy a rifle, because
Exactly.
he's just going to use it in the next round. Like, you're going to buy something here, and unless you've lost the plot, is he going to die straight away? Trex has managed to find a kill in so many different angles. Like, is that classic rotational operator? Like, I will say I'm really not a fan of the sort of peaks without any sort of stun. Like, you have Dinks, who has a stun that literally recharges. Like, why not just utilize it? He can't scope in anymore. You probably get a free kill there.
Coldamenta just came out of his shrouded step instantly into a kill. Trex dash online, not able to escape out of there like a chamber though, so needs the support. Has to have a player with him, and Rust has gone in, but now they've both gone down. The weapons trading hands, and Navi suddenly in the driver's seat of this round. They've got 2 pistols to play with. The operator on Zeddy's the difference maker. The man advantage extended into 2. And Safe, well, I don't see him going for this one. And I don't see him winning it if he does.
Oh, what do you mean? He's going to throw in the lockdown and win the round.
Oh, yeah. Where's he going to put that lockdown? And Kobe run past the op, kill 2 of the teammates in the corner?
There.
Yeah, honestly.
See, look, first kill already. Turret. Timmy's going to do the job. He's so wary of every position, of course. We can sit here and go like, oh, we obviously know all the players are towards long, but Safe doesn't have that information. They could be absolutely anywhere, and while long is the obvious choice, it is just his decision to try and get out of there before the spike explodes. And they're even going to kill off Timmy. That's a little rude.
Oh, I thought he would run and try to grab a weapon, like knife out into garage, something like that.
Well, I guess they came in with... They didn't come in with any guns, did they? I think they just had the tour de force, so the only kills that they could... They probably picked up some of the guns, but I guess there would have been some also dropped by his teammates that died, so...
Yeah, this would just be...
Oh, well.
Running in blind to try to find it. Oh, fair enough. A timeout from Navi. Let's take a moment before they dive into this. SSK's already got a ZOP. So, I mean, like, they're comfy. They're very well able to buy around this one. This is a strong round for them, but they can't let it slip.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking at Trex. I think we saw on the last map, his defensive side Blade Storms have been absolute filth. So the fact that this is almost just going to be a little bit more freedom. Also, most of the ults that are online are going to have a high chance of impact. Like, you've got yourself a Rolling Thunder. If that can be well placed, and especially in combination with Trex, like, there's not a whole lot, I think, especially with a player jumping around, spamming knives at you, that you're going to be able to do. Obviously, big counter to the Rolling Thunder is always going to be that showstopper. It doesn't really matter most of the time where you aim. It's probably going to do a hell of a lot of damage and stop players actually peeking you. So we'll see if any of that can actually come through. And you're right. You are going to see SSK actually now just go in for the operator. But he didn't have to buy it. He got one for free.
Oh, Trex, he's all the way up. I mean, it's being watched. They're Oh, they've heard the step now for sure. So SSK knows exactly what's going on. He knows that Trex is close. He's even pulled out a shorty here to try and deal with it, but Trex has got two. Blinded up, and he didn't give a damn. Said he trades it, but they need something else now. Navi are behind in this round.
It's just like that was the best scenario. Even though there was a third player, there was no way he should have even got one there completely blinded up by the Prowler, but spray and pray, throwing guns out of the map. I think they expect this to be a much weaker purchase than it actually is. Like, that seems like a misread, because ultimately that gun is not going to matter too much. I guess it's maybe did they throw the operator out? I think that's the only gun that could actually be retrieved with some value.
This is definitely one they still want to go for. The chances are there. Looking to move on in. Flashes through Cloud. As two players, though, they've spotted them up. Dealing with them's a different story. Coldamenta been on fire in this series, but he's been blindsided. That Rolling Thunder a second too late. The nade is good. The damage is through, and Rust is gone. It's a 1v1. Thinks Jay actually stands a chance. The spike just now planted. And Safe, sitting up in heaven, has been spotted. In fact, they've seen each other. The info traded out. Safe dropping down. Dinks J doesn't know. Safe used the bullets to mask his drop, and it seems like his opponent rather, is none the wiser. This is wild. He now thinks that maybe he's come down and around through spawn, but in fact, Safe is already here. Oh, what a disaster for Dinks J. Navi, losing out on the round as Guild steal a fifth.
I feel like if you hear players randomly spam like that, there should at least be like a split second in your mind, like maybe he used that to drop down, but I guess Safe just did it to such a high standard that, yeah, absolutely no thought went through the mind of Dinks that he could be in that position. This is just gross. Like, Zeddy's probably frustrated that he even has to be there to trade that one, and yeah, comes down to a clutch. Question I have for you, Mitch, is how many rounds is Safe gonna have his ult before he uses it? I feel like it's gonna be a lot, maybe all of them.
It could be a lot. Yeah, this is very strict scenarios where he's going to use this. You got to be on a clean retake, and you got to have teammates alive with some solid map control. Usually it's a C or an A retake where you've decided to play pretty passive from the get-go. And I think against a team like Navi, it doesn't work so often because this team's so damn slow. You're often going to find those lockdowns used when they like blitz a site when you've not set up for it and you play retake, but Navi rarely blitz any site. They end up at like 3 players alive, 20 seconds, and that's when they move towards the site.
Here.
Wow. An attack side judge alongside a showstopper. I'm curious to see what Cloud's got planned for this round, but does Coldamenta not have a gun?
You know, I don't think he does. Well, right click's powerful, better than any other alternative, better than the judge, that's for damn sure. Already taking the kill, shock darts through, big damage, but it traded back. Dinks J's managed to come out on top with 11 HP left, 70 on Zeddy as they come out, but Russ is gonna just make quick work of those players. SSK's gonna step it up, and he's blindsided, but still gets the shot off. Trade is quick and clean. This Guild push up to 6.
Oh, to be honest, I guess it kind of worked. I genuinely hope that wasn't just some sort of plan that was like, I'm just going to be the absolute bait and use the right click. Either that or just Coldamenta's slowly going to make a compilation of all the times he does this and just send it to Riot and be like, you think this gun is still acceptable? I'm using it in buy rounds. What do you think now? But no, a bit of a weird one. I assume it was just maybe some mismanagement of economy, or someone didn't click the buy teammate gun button quick enough. Even still, 6-2. Guild, although these rounds have been close, still looking incredibly good. And while it's fast 2-man push, they're going to have the Rolling Thunder. But actually, Dinks has gone down to an aftershock, and Cloud was the only man through, Mitch.
You've only got Dino left, and he's going to at least take Leo down, but he's got 4 more players, Tom. It's an ace clutch that's on the cards. Nice connection. Safe comes in again to close out this round, 7-2. The lead keeps on extending into Guild's favor, and with this being the map that, I mean, it could well be their choice. The only advantage here, even better than it being their map pick, because they start defense, and you see just how valuable that can be for them with all these rounds built up. The scary thing is, Tom, I look at this Guild roster and I think, okay, attack side, am I expecting them to be much weaker? Not enough. And a lot of Navi's defense is going to rely on duels that I don't see them winning as of right now, at least.
Out.
One down.
Wow.
Okay. Well, that's one hell of a start. Cloud still able to pull off some magic. How
I
is
thought I was
Trex here?
watching an attacker.
Chex is just in the weirdest positions, but now we're going to see the showstopper used alongside a boombot at the same time. I am very confused with what's going on.
Oh my god, this is a death match. What's going on? They've left the abilities on in a death match. These guys are running around, fragging out every part of mid from every angle of Flash. And a good attempt from Dingsjay, but it's not enough. That's 8-2 for Guild, even in these rounds of just pure chaos.
Gun here.
Sorry, I hope we have a replay, because we switched to Trex, and I had seen him push mid earlier on the radar. Then I looked at what we were watching on the game, and we swapped to his perspective, and I'm like, oh, this is an attacker, and he just shot SSK in the back of the head.
Here.
It was, well, like, it's just crazy, the pace difference on these round to round.
Here.
Yeah, no, especially with like Navi's ability to just go for incredibly slow defaults, and then we just have them in the last round just run straight through garage and try and just take fights, and then in this round they just step into mid and well, they get a kill within like 5 seconds or something. It's a peculiar one. Obviously, for anybody wondering or anyone who hasn't been paying attention, Safe still has got the lockdown, but we're just keeping tabs on it. He hasn't used it the entirety of the game so far. We're in round 11. Doesn't have much time left to use it. Maybe he's saving it for a rainy day, and honestly, it's been all sunshine so far for Guild.
That's true. Yeah, it's all about necessity, right? It hasn't called on him just yet. There's still these 2 rounds to play out. 55 seconds left. Navi.
My ult's not ready.
I mean, I'm shocked. They're playing it slow. They're waiting for some kind of a push. I don't know why they think Guild would push. This Guild team, wow, they're not a pushing team. Anyways, Trex is pushing A long. He's right up in their face, and he's gonna be caught. Oh wait, he's out of there. The movement is sublime. Oh, that was just so gorgeous. He's even fake that he's gone up on top of the boxes, but they're on him again.
30 seconds left.
He's been
How's
caught.
he still alive?
He got seized. What?
Okay.
They Hunter's Fury, right? They seized him. They Hunter's Fury. They did everything, and the dude is still good.
Well, I'm fairly certain that was a defensive side Hunter's Fury, considering there's no Sober on the attack.
Pardon me, yeah,
but
absolutely.
other than that, Leo decided not to kill his
Cloud
teammate.
won
But
it
yeah,
out.
other than that,
Yeah, that was wild, dude. The amount of utility that came his way, like he's deafened, he's hit by ultimates and everything, and he's just like, yeah, I'm just going here, Cloudburst. Either way, he might have survived a long time, but Trex falls eventually. Leo's gonna be left alone in an unwinnable situation. Enemies vanishing in front of his eyes. So we found a 3rd round on that attacking side. Navi finally getting it done.
yeah, I like the
Exceptional round.
switch back from Zeddy. I think that was the main play of the round, was almost realizing how much of a rotation they'd caused and just reclaiming ground into B instead, so that when the rest of his team go rotating, anybody trying to find a fast path back to the C site is going to be caught out by him. And the fact that he gets a couple of kills along the way is just fantastic. So good round from Navi, good mid-round call, I suppose, but still, you're going to have Leo saving a Gunter into the next round. I would assume the money's not going to be too bad, although a lot of these rounds have been close or costly. They've still just been going in Guild's favor, so yeah, plenty to actually buy with, and in fact, they're even still going to be able to get an operator for Trex.
I'm not even sure that that's an upgrade for this guy. That's like 1-to-1. This guy's nuts with an operator. Get a Phantom in his hand, and he's going to be behind them somehow, round on round. Timeout called for Guild. Upset, of course, that they gave away that previous round. What a disgrace to give 3 rounds to the attack. They'll immediately call this timeout and look to remedy the sheer weakness of the defense that they've displayed so far. Maybe, Tom, maybe. I mean, I'm going to throw it out there. In this pause, they might find a little spot to put that lockdown in.
No.
No, yeah, you're right.
No, that would be silly.
Save it for next round.
Yeah,
Round
of
13.
course. Save it for the second round pistol.
Yeah, it's the way to go.
That'd be pretty strong. Just see if anyone else can save anything slightly more valuable. Maybe SSK will bring his Tour de Force through as well. But yeah, I ultimately I think the main reason it hasn't been used is just because Russ probably just going to hold an aftershock for the entirety of the game. Or sorry, no, Dinks is going to hold an aftershock. Now I'm mixing up the teams as well. But
long
yeah,
game, man.
I think that's the main counter to it, and especially the normal retake spot on A that you would utilize it for. Well, firstly, there haven't been a whole lot of after plants, and when they have, they've normally had some sort of fast-paced execute. You don't want to be waiting around an extra 10 seconds or so for that lockdown to be initiated.
Main Prowler spots one out on short. Navi slowly but surely chipping away at this mid control. A Cloud was punished before when they went for that peek around middle, tried to push up through B late, and then Trex's late peeks were on point. His timing and catching them on the cross was fantastic. This time, they've already made a little bit of noise. They've made it clear that they're looking to make their way through Garage or at least take some of this control, and that's going to get the lockdown finally out of safe. And I have to say, after waiting 12 rounds, it's a little underwhelming.
Yeah, it's some would say almost pointless, but you know, as an optimist, I would say yeah. Either way, it is going to be 35 seconds left for Navi, which is more time than they ever have on the clock to actually play with. Safe still at the back of sight, but he's been spotted. He's got to be careful of the wall bangs, but again, there's going to be this late rotation back. Navi have been able to push and pull that defense, and being able to catch a player in B is going to make it a bit awkward. They are running into this, though, very late. Coldamenta drops the spike. It could all be over, but he's caught peeking the wrong way. Wasn't expecting them to come through long. Trex is now going to go for the same sort of play. In fact, pulling out the shorty. If they could just kill off Cloud, it's done, but they don't manage to. Navi looking like they have a guaranteed 4th round onto the board.
That is the Lothar. Yes, you may do a telestrator on this round, please. In fact, this is the most Navi round I've ever seen. You made the point that they were so late. They had barely any time left. They had like, what, 15 seconds? And that's when they swung on long, catching Coldamenta clearing Garage, because he thought nobody in their right mind would be rotating from A with 15 seconds left. They would be coming through Garage. There is no way that somebody would come see long, even one person, let alone the entire gang of them. Like, look at this. There's 2 guys and the spike swinging on that. Cold made the right play. That should have been clear. But if you think that having very low time is going to phase Navi, they'll have 6 seconds by the time they set foot on site, and that's the point that they're trying to secure it as well. They got to plant without having it secure.
Yawning.
And you
they're
think,
like, oh,
yeah,
6?
We had
I thought we'd get here at 4.5.
We planted that spike, and there was 2 seconds left on the clock. Jeez, guys, let's slow it down a little bit. Like, this is Navi, man. That's a perfect way to close the half for them. They've got 4 on the board. This pistol, though, still carries a lot of weight. And SSK, good for the 1, but he's gone down right after.
I love how it still puts the like death point on the map as back of B. It's like, I don't think he died there. That's just where his corpse lies. Nonetheless, 4v4. Rotation now back in a similar sense. Only having 1 player there. This could be nice though. They've almost tried to sell it as their own fake. Everybody's going to run into each other. And it's just going to come down again to a deathmatch. Leo likes those sort of odds, but he has been traded out by the nade. The thing is, though, all of this is happening with plenty of time left. There doesn't really have to be much of a risk, but instead it's the solo peek almost caught reloading and will be. And now Coldamenta facing off against Dino. Health advantage at least will be with the fade.
Cover going out.
The util could make it interesting.
30 seconds left.
Sneaking around that smoke, making his way through the Garage, leaving the spike behind. This is an interesting play. Dino's worried about him maybe being towards the corner, but he'll hardly think he's walked all the way around. I mean, 10 seconds left. He's barely got time to plant. But if he's gambled
10
on
seconds
Dino
left.
being in this corner still, he might catch him. Oh, those shots were a little whiffy, but he got there in the end. 9 rounds secured for Guild, and that might be another nail. One of the last ones in Navi's coffin. I don't know if they decide to force buy up here. I doubt it. And that puts Guild right on the home
10
stretch.
seconds left.
Yeah, definitely not my favorite of all the clutches we've seen so far, but hey, a clutch is a clutch, and getting them into a position 9-4 up going into that attacking half. Can't even really see much of an investment here for Navi, unfortunately. Of course, you're going to have SSK still having the Headhunter bullets. You're also going to have a Sheriff invested in, a bit of utility along the way, but you almost have to attempt something incredibly audacious here for Navi, just because you can't really allow Guild to get out of this clean.
Well, that's it. Damage has to be done here. Make sure they at least pay somewhat of a price. Full push down C long, corner secured with a shorty, and protect the president on the way down from Zeddy, and he's going to rotate all the way back around and play the A site. Same thing's happening here for Cloud. Shifting right a little bit to cover that B gap, and heavy A stack commences. I mean, this is perfect for them over on the defensive side because this drone coming through, it can't spot any of them. They're way too far back. So they can just sit here content that there is a player outside. That's going to keep the stack in play, Tom. And by the looks of it, Guild are committing to it.
Oh, Trex right in towards the site. Still hasn't got massive amount of information of how many players are actually here. Dix! He's gonna go through! And Cloud's managed to find another. Somehow this comes just to safe. Teammate very far away. A kill here could basically end the round just because of that flank coming through. 20 seconds left. It's just dependent on where he actually decides to plant it, but with the amount of time remaining, he's even starting to expect it, looks away, and can just reposition. He's got the turret, and you know what the worst gun for destroying a turret is? It's going to be this shorty trying to get it close. He's successfully done it, but he hasn't managed to get the kill, and he can't go that much further forward. Both players resorting to their pistol, a ring around the Rosie to see who takes it, and it's a headshot down to 1 HP. But it's a clutch. That's a clutch, Mitch. That is a clutch.
And they've made it costly. You know what? Over on the Navi side, it might have been close. They still come out of this with a smile. Maybe that smile is going to be slightly weighed down by the giant frown, the disappointment. 1 HP.
Oh, it's so
man,
unlucky.
If he doesn't fire it off, if one of them he swings slightly wider, the wall doesn't get in the way. There's so many
Or
things.
if
But
any
look,
pellet
it's a
hits
success.
him in the leg of any of the other shots.
Yep.
Like, that's the difference.
Literally. Complete RNG on him there, and it's done him dirty. But Navi, still, they come into this round with the rifles, and look what Guild have to work with. They have got scraps.
Yeah, I think in most scenarios, I'd have said just go for the buy anyway, but they have such a lead that they can almost just opt to try and farm up some orbs here. Like, Safe is not far away from his lockdown, which of course we know he loves to utilize. More importantly, if Trex can even just farm up a few kills here, get himself closer to the Bladestorm, it could make a difference. SSK is in a position that normally we'd just say you're dead, but because of his utility enabling him to escape. Now that shock dart, I don't actually think was far away from destroying it, which definitely would have made things a lot more interesting for him, but thankfully it still stands. But he doesn't.
The Guild maintain a ton of control. The advantage, the damage to Zeddy. They came into this round with without anything to really work with, and now they've managed to double up on rifles, getting one into the hands of Russ. This round is very much under competition. All of a sudden, a good stun nade. The nade actually landing inside the doorway. It lets them move on up towards the site now clean without too much damage sustained. A quick trade for Zeddy. They want this plant though. They need it soon. It has to go down here and now. 4 seconds and it's being planted, but it stops. They can't quite get it. They need the kill. And Dinks J is out of there. He's just hiding, winning it off the time. A disaster for Guild. They were so close.
You merely adopted the slow round. We were born in it. Molded by it. It's so ridiculous. Of course it's Navi that managed to deny them on time. It's like it's happened so many times to them that they just decided, you know what? A little bit of revenge. It's going to taste ever so sweet. Definitely not the manner in which they wanted to win that round. Again, that was the bonus round for Guild. They now come in with the purchase. The buy on the other side stinks. They've got a judge in there. Bulldog as well. This is not a wealthy squad on the side of Navi at this moment in time. But if they can win this round, then the game starts to get a little bit more interesting.
Well, Tom, I see a judge in the hands of SSK with the ability to TP out and Headhunter. They've got C-long control already. Quite a lot of control towards the left side, and now they're being pressured. This is where the guys on A start to push up themselves, and where SSK, well, he has some aggression in mind. Shock dart lands, 63. HP very low, the wall's destroyed. There's very few spots for him to hide safely.
Starting to wrap around it. It seems like Trex is, well, I was going to say about to take some space, but the counter flashes and the rest of the team starting to make their move in towards the B side. It seems like both teams are playing a game of chess, of push and pull. And while Zeddy's spot is actually going to grant the first kill. Coldament, a decent trade. He can't quite get the second, though. And this plant, it's again just being denied a second time where they're just not going to be able to stick it. Oh, Navi are playing an excellent game of just ruining the day of Guild. And while Safe's got to save.
Wow. It is funny that we start out today and, you know, everybody's saying, oh, it's going to be such a slow game, such a slow. But the amount of times that the clock has come into it, this point has had the final say in some of the rounds is, I mean, it's expected, but it still surprises me. I don't understand how that works.
I already think I look older than my age, but when the camera comes back onto me at the end of this game, I think I'm going to look about 57 years old.
I'm glad it's affecting you the same way as it is on. This is, dude, but that's the thing. I think about it from our perspective, from the viewer's perspective. What about from the players, man? They've been going 2 hours, 50 minutes from kickoff of this game.
Yeah, but
that's crazy.
They have a minute and a half nap at the beginning of every round.
But that's the thing. They don't, do they? You know how boring it is to hold an angle? We're watching these interviews with Stewie where he's like flicking his mouse every few seconds because he's like, yeah, it just keeps me focused, you know, keeps me awake. But you see, like, these guys, I'll take an example. Russ, I think he's pressed his A and his D key and moved his mouse. That's all he's done this round. He's literally been stood there watching double doors for the last minute. A minute staring at an angle.
Oh, he moved.
Oh, he's going back. He's going to pick another angle now. Oh, now he's going to stare at the C-long angle for another 10, 15 seconds. His doctor's orders. He's actually getting to use his W key a little bit here. This is a treat. But like, you know what I mean? Those are early rounds. It's not easy. It's not easy to play that every single round. Like, the dedication to do that and to work with those strats is the discipline. Exactly. That discipline is exactly what. Yeah, that's what it is.
We're gonna have initiated. No, we're not. Nothing initiated. Already dead. Taken out by the showstopper. Lockdown. It is never gonna be utilized ever again. We saw it once in the final round. Zeddy. It's just gonna make things so difficult. Again, the clock all the way down low. Go on, we gotta wait a little bit. Come on, guys. Hey, we only got to 8 seconds. That's too early on the clock for everyone to die.
And that's only half the round gone. Come on, guys. Wake up. Yeah, 10-7 we go. 3 rounds between them. Navi are making a really good attempt at swinging this one back. And it's that kill that was found actually with the showstopper. I think that was safe, so they didn't have their lockdown to work with. Would it have been used? Well, I hope so. I hope they have an idea for how they want to use this lockdown on the attack side. Otherwise, I've got some serious questions. But yeah, get that into garage, and it's going to be pretty scary to root it out. But they were able to deal with it nice and early on.
Well, especially with the position of Dinks being on the other side of the map. They'd either need a paint shell to come through, or again, him just to rotate quick enough to get it with the aftershock. But still, Rolling Thunder now initiated. You've got plenty to actually play with. Tour de Force will be up next round as well, so I feel like SSK can take a few more risks and not really have the problem of losing that gun.
Here.
But again, I feel like a lot of this is similarly to what we watch when we see Mech, where there's a heavy reliance on the duelist, and this time Trex, to sort of try and push and probe around the map and find something, and nothing's been given over to him. Hey!
I don't believe it. Is that a lockdown? It's come into play, and it's going to be apparently clearing out half of A. But Navi, you're still just sitting behind the lines. They're instantly filling it back out. That's where the Rolling Thunder comes in, and that's put the pressure on.
Oh, counter. This is just an ult spam currently coming through. Basically utilizing absolutely everything. And while the time's still ticking that a little bit lower, nice work from Cloud, but he's so low on HP. And now there's only Zeddy remaining. Not much health left for Trex. If he can win this initial battle, there's a chance, but Guild eventually will get it over the line. It's a round that really isn't very recreatable, but I do like the idea. I like the fact that you sort of mentioned it. They only cleared out half the site, but then they used the Hunter's Fury to make sure the other half is clear.
Rolling Thunder. And Hunter's Fury.
No, they used Hunter's Fury for the right side initially, and then moved over to the left when no one was there.
Yeah, so it's like full secure. You have your Hunter's Fury covering anybody filling back in, and then your Rolling Thunder catching them as they fill in after. It was fantastic. Plus, then your last, I think, at least last pulse, maybe last two, will catch the players as they're, caught by the Rolling Thunder. So it's not exactly like they can move.
Yeah.
If you connect that second hit, that player is dead. You will kill them. So a huge amount of potential coming out of that execute from Guild.
Yeah.
It is extremely
That round was
costly.
a bit too fast, so they've had to take a tactical pause.
Call the timeout. Yeah, they can't.
But guys, there was 25 seconds when you won that. So we're going to wait that 30 seconds just to make sure that the audience is prepared for something that quick.
But just to say, on the Guild side, I agree with you. It's a huge investment, though. You're not going to have Hunter's Fury, Rolling Thunder lockdown to play with to take a site. That's just not going to happen. But they've gotten it done there. Now they only need to find one solution. If they win this round, Navi have no money, and that's why they've called the timeout. Make sure that they find that solution here and now.
Well, as said, Tour de Force available. So it's not going to be too much of a detriment. Cloud is gone. He's decided he's had enough of waiting. Tasted his own medicine, and it leaves a nasty flavor in your mouth. He wants to try and get up in the face, but there's no one there. They've taken mid-control completely. And on the other side, Guild are looking to try and put some pressure in onto short. Now, Duno does have the utility to at least search for this. The Prowlers have some distance on them, but not spotting anything into long might actually sell a bit of a false story. Instead, he's going to send in the Haunt, and well, it's destroyed immediately. It might not give them the info of how many players are there, but they know it's there.
They're trying to get these players to push up on A, because they're droning out on C, right? They're trying to pressure there. But when that push comes through, they weren't expecting the pack a punch from Cloud. They're going to get the spike. Yeah, they've given it up completely. Interesting, because Dingshade already used. Oh my! Dingshade already uses ult line, and then you get that quick kill up close from SSK.
30 seconds left.
This is locked in, surely.
Yeah, 20 seconds left. Normally where the round begins, but this time it's unfortunately already over. Just wanting to try and hold on to some of the weapons. They'll have enough to drop over on the others as well.
10
so
seconds
it's
left.
not too much of a problem. But yeah, decent round from Navi. And I do think a lot of it's coming off of just being able to take certain portions of the map away. But also, I feel like any sort of A-take that's come in, Dino's been able to... Oh, there it is! Tiny Knife! Yeah! That's the good bug. The best one. But yeah, Dino's been able to find that information. And okay, on the scoreboard, you're not going to sit there and necessarily sing his praises, but it's been very important.
No, it definitely has. I think he's been it's easy to overlook him in a round like this, and I'm glad he's already had that performance last 2 maps to avoid having any questions around it, I suppose. They're going to again have the same stun go down on A. And push coming out of SSK with the operator on the back of it. Here we go. Stun connects on quite a few.
And it means that they can almost set up SSK. Of course, he's got the ability to just get out of there anyway with that aggressive control.
Where are you?
Also, actually going to find out a bit of information deep onto A long as well. So, again, almost just a bit of a standoff between the two squads. Nobody really wanting to try and face into any of these angles, and a bit of an off position here. Oh, he's missed. You'd expect him to leave, but no. Sticks around for an extra shot, and that's going to be Russ gone.
They're all moving in through the garage. Safe already up close. The other steps being heard. They've now gotten inside that smoke. If Safe goes through, he is dead. Cloud waiting on the other side of that. Hoping for it to happen. That's Safe. He doesn't make a move just yet. Navi now start to focus on the C site because players are starting to spill out of garage, look for the site itself. And here's where Safe needs to try and find that flank or go back to his teammates. And back over he goes, gets caught on the cross there. Big hit on the Coldamenta. Leo's down, Safe falls, and it's a 28 health Omen remaining. This round, done and dusted.
Yeah, solid hold. I think as well, just being able to get SSK onto that operator again, just locking down certain portions of the map, almost forcing them back into other positions, and then just the delaying utility that Navi have at this stage. Of course, as we know, watching Navi gameplay, this will probably get to overtime and then they'll lose. But hey, it's just the Navi way so far this season. It's why they're unfortunately not in one of the positions to be making it in towards the playoffs. Again, though, it's a purchase for Guild, not going to be particularly pretty. No ults behind it either, so to actually get anything done in this one's going to be a real struggle.
Definitely some dangers there, but overall, you're not expecting too much of a strong face coming out of this Guild side. Let's see what their approach is. You know, we've seen the faster plays definitely work out at times, and with this many pistols, certainly wouldn't be a surprise if they go for that now. Trek's just 2 away from Blade Storm, so big game changer if they can get that one through. Nade gonna cause some problems. Dash online, so he gets out of there, and well, Cloud couldn't see a thing, so he has just showstopper in an empty corner.
Hey, the corner's now clear.
It is.
No one there.
It already was.
It's got some paint on it. He was actually just trying to redecorate. That was the goal in that round. But yeah, the thing is, even still, it's again forced Guild back into a pretty awkward position because they've only really got the rifle onto Coldamenta to play with. Information being spotted out as well. Zeddy's able to just completely reposition, although they do know he's here, and there is an aftershock, so they should be able to force him out. Good start to the round. Dino looking to try and go for the swing. It's solid. He's going to come out with 2 kills, and Cloud still just lurking around the angle. It's left all onto one, and that rifle doesn't really find anything. Cloud on his way back to getting that showstopper again, and more importantly, Navi still climbing. They have brought this down to just 1 round, and I think, what were we at? We had like 10-4 or something? I feel like this has been a very long road to recovery.
Same thing last map though, right? We had that same recovery all the way through it, where we ended up at like 11-6 or something, 11-7, and then right back into it with Bill taking it. I feel like for Navi, in that round especially, we really got a glimpse at the silent hero that has been Dino. Like, this guy, it's not sure the triple kills found by Cloud, but the importance of those frags from Dino, of his utility as well in some of these fights, I genuinely feel like he is more than carrying his weight at this point in the game, which is funny to say looking at the scoreboard, but the impact of this fate is tangible.
That's the thing. If I was going to build like a dream CIS roster of the players we currently have, he's in there for me. I think him and Cloud would be taken from Navi, and then I think you'd make a combination of some of the players from Mech. Maybe throw Trex in there as well. Like, I think the there's a lot of very solid players. Obviously I feel like Mech could definitely still get to the heights once again, but I mean of like current form, I think that he's one of the elements that would be so valuable for a team like Mech, of just that pure supportive element and still able to put up decent numbers and frags, but more importantly, someone like Cloud is going to have the impact that he has because of how good Dino actually performs of just getting him that information or having that different pieces of setup utility. I think he's fantastic.
11-10. One round in it, Tom. Dino's been fantastic so far, and the entirety of Navi have. They put on a damn good show, as they have versus every team. Like we said, starting out today, 3 maps in every series. The same thing holds true here. Liquid. Map 3 was 16-14 for Liquid in the end. It was like
I think so, yeah.
It was an OT. Anyways, I remember it was a couple OTs. For Navi, like they have really pushed
it was 16-14. And obviously the 18-16 with BBL as well.
Oh, I forgot about
they
that
played
one.
the most rounds. There's no doubt about that.
No question. No question. Trex dodged that from right past the Paranoia. It's all the way through in the corner, spraying away. That's great damage, but no connection.
Standing.
Actually, a lot less damage than I thought. I think some of those must have went through the legs. The spray was off. Dementa left alone and shut down. That is a recovery from Navi. 11-11. We're tied up, and coming into this round, Tom, take a look at Guild's economy. Glance down at what few credits you can see, because they've got nothing. This could be Navi. It should be Navi on map and series point.
So Trex is going to get 5 kills.
Probably, yeah. This Blade Storm Ace coming.
And the thing is, that's exactly what happened in the last map. It was like, just for the last couple of rounds, he was like, guys, like, I kind of want to win. And they were like, oh, if we have to. And they just killed everyone. So, never count him out. You'd expect the Blade Storm to be utilized in this round. Obviously, they're going to have a buy for the next. Whether or not the Rolling Thunder is used, I think will be solely based on how much he's actually able to get done with the knives. And obviously on the other side, they're going to have heard that call out and probably try and play this a little bit more carefully. Already, though, it is, again, just a faster pace change. Super reliance on him to do well. This is an interesting TP, though, right into the corner. Zeddy just going to play on the edge of it.
That aggression that they have down on C long. The trap inside garage, there's no way they move. They stay tucked in here, and Zeddy, he's gone down to the Blade Storm right away. They've got the site control. They know that there's a couple of Navi players right outside of this, but that's perfect for them. The pistols, they're going to let them push right back in, try to take that space. It's all going to be about Trex and this Blade Storm. He's going to look to get a whole bunch of damage done. And where's this Rolling Thunder coming in? Or when, rather? What's the contact point?
I think it's Trex. It's basically the second there's any sort of interaction between him seeing someone and knowing they're there. Nice clear, though, from Cloud. He's actually going to dodge it. It was too deep, but because of that, he's able to come out with 3 kills. Not quite clearing out the danger, man. Nice shot from Dementa, but he's going to get isolated. Now it's Cloud to get that 4K. SSK will steal the ace, but I don't think they're going to mind too much. A very close round, a nice attempt. But ultimately, Navi now get to map and series point. Now, Mitch, they've been here many times before. As said, out of all the times, this is the one, unfortunately, that means the least to them. But they're going to want to close it out. To be the only team to be killed this season, I'm sure they'll take something away with that. And actually, I know, like, obviously for Guild, they're already top of the group and stuff. But I think for Navi, especially for some of the individual players, like, there's going to be a lot changing going into next year. If you're able to showcase yourself, which I think Cloud is definitely doing here, that's a good thing to do.
100%. Yeah, you look at this game for Navi, you come out of the season, every game that you lost was close.
1 HP.
No, big spams. Every game you played was super close, and you end up beating the top of the group. That tells you you could have been top of the group easily. A couple of rounds here and there across the season. That's all the stuff between them. Zeddy has completed the Omen challenge. He's taking out Dementa, following up for 4. That's 3 in this round. Dominantly closing it out. 13-11. Navi will be the only team to